Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. National Game. I can modify the blind box probability. Chapter 21. There are also 3 blue drops. A stone, a helmet, and a scroll. Shenhe picked up the helmet first. Hey, the color of this helmet is a bit interesting. Shenhe reached out and tapped his helmet twice, making a bang-bang sound. This is a green helmet. Refined bronze helm. Level 10. Attribute bonus. HP plus 50. Passive. Primary mental protection. Certain resistance to dizziness and hypnotic mental skills. Equipment limit. Level 10. Equipment introduction. The legacy left by a soldier who has been tempered on the battlefield. Hiss, good fellow, your temple has just been repaired when the monk is old. Shenhe saw the effect of the equipment. He seemed a bit dumbfounded. If he had this piece of equipment, he could get it before he fights the magic rat. The process of beating the magic mouse just now will be much simpler. But now, all the magic rats have been defeated. Here comes this equipment again. Anyway, it can also increase the blood volume by 50 points, right? Shenhe didn't dislike it either. Put this piece of equipment into the equipment slot. This increased his blood volume to 470 points. At any rate, it is somewhat enhanced. There were 2 blue items left. One was a stone, which was opened by Shenhe. Accessory slot opening stone. After use, accessory slot 2 can be opened. The things to expand the equipment area are good, not bad. Shenhe clicked to use it directly. Although, he currently does not have a second accessory type of equipment. Ding, you used the prop accessory slot opening stone and you successfully opened the accessory area too. The system's beep sounded in Shenhe's ears. This marks that his 7th equipment slot has been opened. The last one left. Shenhe grabbed the last scroll-like thing. Magic Rat's treasure map. Follow the map to find the location of the Magic Rat's treasure. Not bad, not bad, lucky me, everything is good and good. Shenhe responded to this drop. Very satisfied, he looked carefully at the treasure map of this magic rat. Discover treasure locations. It is located on the level 30 to 40 map, on the Starfall Plain. Wait until this time is over and go out and search slowly. Shenhe glanced at it and then put the treasure map away. Next. That's it, the hardest part of the Jerry's Cabin mission. The last boss. Big Cousin. Not only did both resistance levels reach a terrifying 300 points, but even the blood volume expanded to 20,000 points. One more thing. In terms of skill mechanics, no one has beaten Big Cousin in the guide, so at best only part of the mechanics is provided. The eldest cousin's attack methods are ordinary. Just hit it with your fist. There are 2 types of fist smashes, one is an ordinary fist, and the other is blowing air into the fist, making the fist expand like a balloon, and then smashing it with the fist. The mechanism is very simple. One could even say primitive man. But the main thing is a powerful flying brick. The main focus is a numerical monster. Half an hour passed in a blink of an eye. The skill CD of Dragon Explosion is ready. Shenhe used the staff as a stick and swung it. He has no magic skills and only has the initial 10 points of spirit. To Shenhe, this staff is a stick that increases attack speed by 25% and increases blood volume by 200 points. Not to mention, it's quite easy to wave. Boom. There was a sound of a heavy object hitting the wall, like a thunderous explosion, which made people's eardrums hurt. Immediately afterwards, there was just a click sound, and the wall seemed to be hit by a giant hammer. Countless gaps instantly opened and spread like a spider web. Before Shenhe could react, the entire wall collapsed, raising a cloud of choking dust. In the dust and mist, a huge rat slowly walked out. The muscles all over its body are bulging, as if it contains infinite power. Every step is filled with arrogance. The final boss, Big Cousin, appeared. Big Cousin LV10 King Beast Boss. A new affix. Different from the enhanced boss of the Magic Rat, this is a King Beast boss that is 1 level higher than the enhanced boss. Roar. The eldest cousin roared violently. Then he rushed directly towards Shenhe. The huge force directly turned the ground into a tofu block, and each foot was a footprint. It looks like my scalp is numb. Seeing the power of my eldest cousin. Shenhe also felt a drumbeat in his heart. The strength of this boss is definitely the highest he has encountered so far. Even before the fight, you can already feel how terrifying the opponent is. Watching his eldest cousin rushing towards him, Shen He's left hand shot out a spider web and covered his elder cousin. But the eldest cousin was completely fearless. He stretched out his hand and blocked the cobwebs. And Shen He also stepped forward at this time. While the elder cousin was distracted by the spider web, he hit the elder cousin with a stick. If nothing unexpected happens, can't do any damage at all. With a defense power of up to 300 points, this requires high physical penetration and attack power to defeat. As for Shen He's current equipment and skills, it can't be said that they are all rubbish. They are not very good anyway. Purely rely on the unleveled red ghost weapon, Dragon's Wrath to carry. Of course, there is no need to buy such good equipment before level 40, as it is all in the transitional period. A stick hit the elder cousin on the head. This kind of harmless and extremely insulting behavior immediately made the eldest cousin furious, and he slapped Shen He in the face with his backhand. Shen He is now using the skill of blocking and counter-attacking more and more smoothly. Finished with one stick. Immediately make a blocking action. State. The counterattack hit the older cousin, gaining an extra layer of passivity. Shen He's body was punched by his elder cousin and flew away. Hit the wall behind. -152. A bright red number appeared from the top of Shen He's head. Shen He's blood volume was reduced by about 1/3. The attack power is a little stronger than that of the second cousin, but the strength is limited. Still within Shen He's acceptable range. Shen He fell to the ground and immediately poured red potion into his mouth. +50, +10. Green numbers lit up on Shen He's head. Restored some of his lost health. The big cousin who succeeded with one blow was victorious. He jumped directly on the spot, like a meteorite, and jumped towards Shen He like the top of Mount High. Shen He didn't dare to neglect. You can't run away. He stretched out his left hand and shot a spider web onto the roof. Then use the second stage of traction to let yourself fly. Avoided the impact of the big cousin. Pulling the spider web, Shen He jumped into the air. Get out of the way of the big cousin's impact. The eldest cousin's attack power is extremely terrifying. It can be seen that a large amount of dust is raised directly where the big cousin landed. At this time, Shen He fell from the air. The magic wand in his hand knocked hard on the elder cousin's back. Of course, the defense still cannot be broken. Unless you are wearing a purple suit, it is unrealistic to have more than 300 attack points at level 10. Shen He would not spend time specifically to get the level 10 purple suit that was destined to be eliminated. As the staff struck the big cousin boss, the third layer of passives is also fully stacked. The staff turned golden. The 25% attack speed bonus allows Shen He to turn around and attack before his cousin. It became Dragon Fury passive. Boom! A huge force hit the eldest cousin. The Dragon Fury passive can directly knock the second cousin Magic Rat away. It just made the eldest cousin take half a step back. The place where it was hit is slightly dented. It's gone. -1000. A seemingly high damage figure appeared from the top of the elder cousin's head. It can be seen that the eldest cousin's health bar has been reduced by 1/20. It looks a little scraped. This is the enhanced basic attack that Shen He has been saving for a long time. Roar! It seemed like he was feeling pain. The eldest cousin swept Shen He away with one backhand. This time, Shen He had no time to block. Moreover, weapons like the staff are actually not very suitable for blocking actions. -210. A damage number popped up from Shen He's head. It can be called the art of disappearing blood bars. Shen He, who still had most of his blood in his body, suddenly entered a state of residual health. And, it's not over yet. The eldest cousin who was hit by the blow blew a breath into his fist like blowing up a balloon. Its fist instantly swelled. It was almost half the size of Shen He's body. If nothing else, this is the skill of the eldest cousin. The eldest cousin waved his big fist and jumped towards Shen He who had not yet gotten up. Shen He saw his eldest cousin's movements out of the corner of his eye. The original action of standing up turned into rolling on the ground. A very ugly donkey rolled and dodged the big cousin's attack. It can be said that every attack from the eldest cousin is a very big threat to Shen He. This boss is too strong. Shen He breathed heavily. A short 1-minute battle. Shen He felt that it was more tiring than running 1,000 meters. Is this a king beast boss that is stronger than an enhanced boss? Just take a breather in Shen He. Give yourself a primary life potion to restore a little blood. The eldest cousin is like a machine that doesn't know what it means to be tired. Attacked Shenhe again. The only thing worth celebrating is probably that my eldest cousin seems a bit bulky. While dodging with the help of spider webs from time to time, Shenhe and his eldest cousin chatted for nearly 5 minutes. Killed the elder cousin with 3 dragon rage passives. Knocked out 3,000 blood points of my cousin. But a new problem appeared. Spider webs will only be generated every 10 seconds. Gradually it became insufficient. Moreover, Shenhe's physical strength is also a problem. Now he can barely run on both legs. In the wilderness, physical strength is a hidden attribute, linked to level and occupation. There are also a small number of top-quality equipment that have the attribute of physical strength. No, if I keep going like this, I'll get cold. Shenhe gasped for air. Suddenly, Shenhe glanced out of the corner of his eye. He glanced at the cobwebs that almost covered the roof, and then glanced at the wall. He found an interesting place. Except for the wall that was destroyed by the elder cousin at the beginning, several other walls were actually accidentally damaged by the elder cousin many times. But no harm was done. The wall that was broken down in the first place. In fact, it's more like the opening animation. Looking at the dozens of spider webs stuck to the roof, an idea gradually took shape in Shenhe's mind. His physical strength and the inventory of spider webs in the spider web launcher no longer support him and his cousin's continued consumption. Otherwise, wait until his physical strength is completely exhausted. It was his time to die. Of course, that's almost it now. Seeing that his cousin was cheating, he jumped towards him again. Shenhe quickly checked the approximate location visually. Shoots spider webs overhead. Not enough. Shenhe, who had escaped his elder cousin's attack, now doesn't even try to save passively. He just kept dodging his big cousin's attacks. Then, he continued to shoot spider webs towards the roof. Under Shenhe's consumption, the capacity of the spider web launcher to produce 1 spider web in 10 seconds will soon be insufficient. No, it's still a little bit worse. Shenhe was extremely anxious. Not even close. Just a little bit more. Facing another attack from the big cousin. Shenhe wanted to dodge. However, my legs became weak. The movement paused. Boom. Shenhe's body was like a tennis ball. He was slapped one by his eldest cousin and sent flying. The blood volume has bottomed out, with less than a quarter left. It seems like I'm running out of ammunition and food, and I feel like I'm in a desperate situation. Quote. It was at this time. Shenhe's spider web launcher can be used again. The latest spider web has been generated. The eldest cousin bit his thumb fiercely and blew again. Such a move. Shenhe's eyes lit up. He raised his left hand, pointed towards the roof, and shot out the last spider web. If unsuccessful, the eldest cousin probably won't give Shenhe a chance to shoot a cobweb. Shenhe can't survive the next 10 seconds. Puff. A flash of silver light flashed, and the spider web shot out like an arrow, flying rapidly in the air, like a smart snake, accurately sticking to the roof. Intertwined with the previously shot spider webs, weaving together into a huge web bag. The threads of the spider web are as thin as hair and intertwine with each other to form an indestructible network. The shape of the mesh bag is constantly changing, sometimes expanding and sometimes shrinking, as if it is alive. A work that can be called a work of art was born in Shenhe's hands. It succeeded. Shenhe looked at his work. There was a look of ecstasy on his face. He succeeded. He successfully created an advantageous position on the roof. This height is beyond the reach of my elder cousin even if he jumps. Shenhe could absolutely go up and rest for a while when he was exhausted or his blood volume couldn't keep up. Seeing his older cousin approaching, Shenhe jumped on the spot. Use the second section of the spider web to pull you. Shenhe was pulled to the roof, surrounded by the spider web created by him. The eldest cousin looked at Shenhe above his head. Angrily, he kept jumping on the spot. I want to knock down Shenhe or tear the cobwebs apart. But the height of 5 or 6 meters is almost 3 times his height. Even if you jump up, you can't reach it at all. I can only do it down there in a hurry. Although the dual resistance and blood volume are terrible, the attack power is also very brutal. But the mechanism of Big Cousin is, after all, just the mechanism of primitive people. In fact, this tactic of Shenhe, It only has an effect on bosses like the eldest cousin. Magic rats can use magic to directly attack Sunken River, and taffy rats can also throw bombs. The eldest cousin has no long-range ability at all. I watched my older cousin keep jumping down below, but he could never reach the spider web. At this time, Shenhe's heart slowly fell into his stomach. Tactical success. Call. Shenhe collapsed on the spider web and let out a deep breath. Recovering his physical strength. The spider web launcher is also slowly replenishing ammunition. About 5 minutes later, Shenhe recovered a little strength. Web launcher ammo refill completed. Shenhe's blood volume was also filled up. It's time to judge you. Shenhe jumped off the spider web. With a full attitude, he faced his big cousin again. He said it very harshly. But 10 minutes later, Shenhe was off again and returned to the internet. The strength of the eldest cousin was higher than the level 20 boss Shenhe had encountered before. After barely spending 2,000 points of blood on his cousin, Shenhe returned to the internet again, avoiding the edge for the time being. During this period, he also used spells to attack his elder cousin from time to time to prevent him from getting out of the battle. Just like that, I went back and forth 4 times. Buzz. A burst of dragon fury is passively fired. The golden magic wand struck the elder cousin on the head. Minus 1,000. The eldest cousin's blood volume dropped a bit. Only half health left. Boom. Just hearing a loud bang, a powerful wave of air suddenly exploded from the big cousin's body. This force was so terrifying that Shenhe, who was standing nearby, was instantly overturned. In the air, his body lost control, like a leaf blown up by the wind. A layer of scarlet color appeared on the surface of the eldest cousin's body, as if he was enveloped by an evil force. The scarlet light flickered and was creepy. His skin began to crawl with hideous lines, as if something terrifying was about to break free from his body. As the scarlet color spread, the eldest cousin's expression became distorted and painful, and his eyes glowed with a strange red light, revealing a kind of madness and determination. His breathing also became rapid, and every breath was accompanied by a low roar, which made people shudder. Ding! The blood volume is below 50%, and the eldest cousin has entered the state of King Beast. Ding! Cousin's attack power is doubled, and defense power and magic resistance are increased by 50%. Ding! Cousin got the long-range skill, Junchi Fist. Ding! Cousin gets 10% blood-sucking effect. Ding! Cousin gets 5,000 shield points, and the shield lasts for 30 seconds. Ding! Cousin got 100 points of physical penetration and 80 points of spell penetration. A dense system of beeps rang in Shenhe's ears. The eldest cousin in the King Beast state is tall and mighty, like the god of war descending. Its muscles have clear lines and are full of explosive power, and every movement carries unparalleled power. Its existence makes people feel endless pressure, as if the surrounding air is solidified because of him. No need to doubt. The eldest cousin in this state now has more than doubled his strength. One normal attack can kill Shenhe in seconds. Nah, these attribute bonuses are too scary, aren't they? Shenhe swallowed hard. Originally, the eldest cousin's attributes were very terrifying. After this round of strengthening with almost no blind spots, the strength of the big cousin, Shenhe could only say that he flew into the sky and stood side by side with the sun. It can't be described with just one word, horrible. Now Shenhe can't even return to the internet to continue. The current eldest cousin has a long-range skill, Junchi Fist. The final blow. Shenhe silently took out a dragon-shaped badge, aiming the badge at the furious older cousin. Bye now, Shenhe said with a relaxed mind. As long as there is no real shield, the real damage is not affected by external factors such as defense power and shield. Shenhe's palm flashed with dazzling light, and a thick energy pillar suddenly shot out from his hand like a dragon emerging from the sea. Active skill, Dragon Explosion. This energy pillar carried a heaven-destroying momentum and rushed towards the big cousin with lightning speed. A trace of confusion flashed in the eldest cousin's scarlet eyes, and before he had time to react, the energy pillar had already reached his chest. It only felt an irresistible huge force that knocked him back, and his body drew an arc in the air like a kite with a broken string. With a loud bang, the big cousin hit the far wall heavily, and then slowly slid to the ground. Minus 10,000. A 5-digit high amount of damage instantly emptied the big cousin's blood tank. The eldest cousin's physical strength is really high. Hit head on. It hasn't been penetrated by Dragon Blast yet. Wow, wow, wow. A large area of dropped objects composed of various colors of light. Like a volcano erupting, it spurted out from the corpse of the eldest cousin. Big bang. An unprecedented explosion. Just from the golden rays, Shenhe saw 2 rays, 4 purple rays, 7 blue rays and a dozen green and white rays. An unprecedented explosion. The drop rate of a boss of Big Cousin. All the BOSSs that Shenhe killed before dropped more things. Even more. Ding, this is your first time to independently kill the King Beast boss, Big Cousin, causing 100% damage. You will get that mark of the King, Big Cousin, and you will be rewarded with King Coin X1. The system prompts rang in Shenhe's ears. 2 new words are mentioned in it. King's Mark, and King's Coin. What is this? Shenhe looked a little confused. A word I have never heard before. But, he seems to be quite high-end, right? Shenhe was not in a hurry to pick up the dropped objects for the time being. Instead, he studied the King's Mark and the King's Coin. Mark of the King, Big Cousin, proof of killing Big Cousin independently for the first time. King Coin. You can activate the King's shop at the Mysterious Merchant and use it as currency. Mysterious Businessman. This thing seems to be refreshed randomly. Let's wait until we have a chance to encounter it. Shenhe collected the golden King Coin that was rewarded by the system. The Mysterious Businessman can be encountered but cannot be sought. Let it go for now. It's time for me to harvest. Looking at the fallen objects on the ground, the expression on Shenhe's face was one of happiness. Is there anything in the world that is happier than getting almost the same piece of loot as a reward? If so, please give me a copy and let me try to see if it is more enjoyable than the rewards dropped in one place. Green and white stuff. After Shenhe took a cursory glance. Just collected them all. There's nothing good about it, it's basically just materials. There is also equipment, but it is relatively poor. Now, there are 2 gold items, 4 purple items, and 7 blue items left in front of him. Shenhe first took out 2 purple items. Time card 1 month after use, 1 month of game time can be added. Time card half month after use, the game time can be increased by half a month. This is something boss must produce. 2 time cards, it's quite unlucky. Shenhe casually used up the 2 time cards. Compared to the time card, Shenhe actually hoped it would be something else. But the thing that exploded was the time card, and Shenhe didn't have any spells. Shenhe's eyes continued to patrol among the trophies. He reached out and picked out a broken blueprint. Mouse's Smart Drawing Part 4. Sure enough, the last piece of the puzzle is on you. Shenhe said in a tone that was indeed true. The first 3 puzzle pieces are in the hands of the first 3 bosses. The last piece of the puzzle, as expected, is in the hands of the eldest cousin. Let me see what you are. As Shenhe said that, he took out all 3 fragments of the rat smart drawing from his backpack. The 4 broken drawings seemed to be pulled by a mysterious force. As they gradually came closer, they seemed to have a magnetic force on each other. They are like long-lost brothers, eagerly looking for each other and attracting each other. Each drawing bears the traces of time, with worn corners and blurred lines, but when they come closer, a strange resonance fills the air. First, 2 of the drawings trembled slightly, as if they felt each other's presence, and then they slowly approached, like 2 old friends reunited after a long separation. As the distance shortens, the attraction between the drawings becomes stronger. They seem to be pulled by invisible lines and come closer involuntarily. When the 4 drawings finally met, they seemed to have found their complete selves and were perfectly spliced together. The originally broken edges merged with each other, and the lines and patterns gradually became clear. A red light burst out from the drawing. Items of beyond golden quality. Ding, you have obtained that spiritual drawing of rat. The object emitting red light fell into Shenhe's hands. All go, red. Shenhe felt an extreme sense of excitement in his heart. Red. He quickly checked this thing. Mouse's Smart Blueprint. Collect the following materials to synthesize a levelless ghost weapon, Mouse's Smart. Rat Boss Souls. 4 100ths types automatically collected when killing the rat boss. Dragon Soul of level 2 or above, 0 thirds. It's another levelless ghost weapon. Shenhe wiped the corners of his mouth. Wiped away the non-existent saliva. He has personally experienced the power of levelless ghost weapons. A levelless ghost weapon is so powerful. If there's one more thing. It's just that this requirement is a bit difficult. There are 100 different kinds of rat bosses, and 3 dragon souls of level 2 or above are required. This requirement is a bit high. See the conditions for obtaining this level-less red ghost weapon. Only then did Shenhe realize how incredible his permission to modify blind box probability was. This is the normal way to obtain unleveled ghost weapons. Don't think about the second turn dragon soul for now. Pay more attention to the rat boss in the future. Shenhe put away that mouse smart drawing. This matter cannot be rushed. It is a long-term task. Not bad, not bad. Let me see what else there is. I will make a fortune this time. Shenhe picked up another golden item. The golden item this time is a spear weapon. Tassel of red flame. Level 10. Type weapon. Attribute bonus. Attack plus 100. Physical penetration plus 20. Life plus 200. Passive. Fire. Each attack will cause additional fire damage of 50% of the enemy's attack power, and accumulate a little heat value. Flame Fang. Fire attribute resistance plus 30. Initiative. Bacon Fire starts a prairie fire. Consume 5 points of blazing heat, swing the spear, and cause 400 points of fire damage to a fan-shaped area of 120 degrees in front with a radius of 5 meters. Equipment Wearing Limit. Level 10. Equipment Introduction. Beloved born in flames, reborn in battle. What a great thing. Much stronger than a magic staff. Shenhe changed his equipment almost immediately. He replaced the arcane staff he was equipped with. The arcane staff gives 25% attack speed, but in actual combat, it has no big effect at all. Not piling. The attribute of attack speed is better for the archer profession. And, one more thing. A staff actually increases attack speed, which is more or less abstract. After replacing the red flame tassel, Shenhe's main attack power doubled. From the previous 105 points, it increased to 205 points. There is also 20 points of physical penetration. It can be said that as long as you are not fighting a monster of the level of the big cousin, Shenhe can now deal damage. Keep going, keep going. All the golden items were opened by Shenhe. There are now 2 purple items left, and 7 blue items. Shenhe grabbed a purple object that looked like a stone. Skill Cleaning Stone can delete a skill. It's for washing skills. Shenhe looked at his 2 skills unconsciously. Primary Health Specialization and Block Counterattack. The effect of Primary Life Specialization is relatively rubbish, only adding 100 points of blood volume. This is the lowest level skill. It's just you. However, Shenhe is not in a hurry to wash away this skill. Although it is relatively rubbish, he does not have other skills for the time being, so he will use it first. Wait until you encounter a good skill, then use it. What a coincidence. The only remaining purple item is a skill book. Shenhe immediately reached out and grabbed the skill book. When he saw the name of the skill book, Shenhe was stunned for a moment. Rat Hidden Technique. Mouse Invisibility Technique. Invincible for 0.5 seconds, forcibly transforms into a mouse, movement speed increases by 50%, and gradually declines. The transformation time lasts for up to 5 seconds, the transformation can be actively released, and the transformation will be released automatically after being attacked. Cooling time 30 seconds. Learning conditions. Assassin profession, level 40 or above. Isn't this the magical skill of an assassin? Shenhe was a little happy. It's a pity that I can't learn. Shenhe smacked his lips and said with some regret. This is a life-saving skill. The moment you use it, you can get an invincible frame of 0.5 seconds. There is also a movement speed bonus. You should be able to sell it for a good price. The primary life specialization in Shenhe's skill bar can continue to stay in the skill bar for a while. There are 7 remaining blue items, 4 of which are materials, a blue dagger weapon, a mage skill, and a hat that increases spell attack power. The dropped items have been dealt with. Shenhe walked towards the outside of the house. He still has to find the NPC named Xiaomi and hand over the task before he can complete the Jerry's cabin task. A small box was held in Shenhe's hand. Fairy Miaotong's Immortal Fate box. Shenhe put his hand on the box and touched it twice. Soon, I will be able to get the permission to modify it soon. Shenhe said with some expectation. Push the door open. Xiaomi was standing outside the door. His expression looked very nervous. When he saw Shenhe pushing the door open and walking out, Xiaomi's eyes shone with infinite brilliance. Are you okay? I just heard a lot of noise in the house, as if some monster was raging inside. I was too scared to go in, Xiaomi said. When Shenhe heard this, his face looked a little strange. Monster. There are really monsters inside, even more than one. Don't worry, I have killed the mouse. Shenhe replied. Thank you, Xiaomi said happily. As Xiaomi's voice fell. Ding, you have perfectly cleared the Jerry's cabin mission and will be rewarded with the permission to modify the blue blind box once. Ding, a new mission has been released, please check it carefully. Blue blind box modification permissions once. He can now modify the probability of Fairy Meowtong's Immortal Fate box. Goodbye, Xiaomi. Shenhe calmly waved his hand towards Xiaomi. Shenhe arrived at a deserted corner. Shenhe took out Fairy Meowtong's Immortal Fate box. What he wants is actually unlimited blind box modification permission. Fairy Meowtong's Immortal Fate box blue. The higher the favorability of Fairy Meowtong, the higher the value of the items given out. Current favorability 0. Fairy Meowtong's marriage certificate 0.00000001%. Random golden equipment skill 0.0999999%. Random purple equipment skill 0.9%. Random blue equipment skill 9%. Random green equipment skill 90%. Shenhe reached out and clicked behind the plus sign for probability in the first line of the marriage letter. Ding, do you want to spend one opportunity to modify the probability of the blue blind box to modify the probability of the blind box? The prompt tone of the blind box cheating device rang in Shenhe's ears. His answer is definitely, yes. Ding, you have consumed the blue blind box modification permission once, and you have the probability modification permission for this Meowtong Fairy's Immortal Fate box. Shenhe got the authority. The probability of getting the marriage certificate immediately has been revised to 100%. The probability after modification is Fairy Meowtong's Immortal Fate box blue. The higher the favorability of Fairy Meowtong, the higher the value of the items given out. Current favorability 0. Fairy Meowtong's marriage letter 100%. Random golden equipment skill 0%. Random purple equipment skill 0%. Random blue equipment skill 0%. Random green equipment skill 0%. Haha, this is a blind box. After the adjustment, Shenhe laughed. Then, open the blind box. Ding, Fairy Meowtong's marriage certificate was obtained by someone. This item is no longer available in Fairy Meowtong's Immortal Fate box. Ding, Fairy Meowtong's marriage certificate. Byte. 3 consecutive system prompts sounded in the ears of all players in the server. What? There is really a marriage certificate in the fairy box. Holy crap, someone got the marriage certificate. Doesn't that mean that Fairy Meowtong is about to be captured? Maybe a female player opened it. Or someone opened it and was willing to take it out in exchange for money. In short, it would be a lot of fun. I have to mention that Vice President Chi of the Eternal Guild. I heard that he spent 100 years in order to increase Fairy Meowtong's favorability. 100 years. Do you know what the concept is? Quote. Because of the appearance of Fairy Meowtong's marriage certificate. It immediately caused an uproar in the entire wilderness. Especially within the sphere of influence of the top guild, the Eternal Guild. Lin Meowtong is an NPC in the city where the main force of the Eternal Guild is located. Moreover, many senior officials of the Eternal Union have more or less had thoughts about Lin Meowtong. I just couldn't get enough of her. In some fiery copy. The flames are burning and the magma is flowing. The hot breath filled the air, making it difficult to breathe. However, a man holding a gorgeous sword was struggling with the monster. Suddenly, the voice of a server-wide notification sounded, breaking the originally tense atmosphere. The man holding a big sword trembled violently after hearing the news, and was almost hit by the monster's attack. There was a trace of surprise and uneasiness in his eyes, and the sword in his hand shook slightly. Vice President, the man who was originally focused on fighting was now distracted by the announcement. The content broadcast by the system caused his mood to fluctuate. But he quickly came to his senses, held the sword tightly, and rejoined the fierce battle with the monster. His movements became more rapid, and the sword swung out with brilliant light, complementing the flames and magma. Not long after, the monster in front of him fell. A lot of dropped items exploded. But the man didn't even look at it. "I still have something to do, please share it." The man immediately left the copy. An order came down from the Eternal Guild. Bounty for 100 years. Looking for Fairy Miaotong's marriage certificate. No matter in any way, just bring this marriage certificate of Fairy Miaotong to the Eternal Guild. Just pay for 100 years. Provide relevant clues and you will also receive a 1-year time reward. In an instant, the entire wilderness was boiling. 100 years of time. People were frantically searching at major trading houses and auction houses. In an elegant bamboo building, a young girl with a cool temperament is sitting in front of the piano, gently plucking the strings, and the melodious piano music flows in the air like gurgling water. However, at this moment, Lin Miaotong's eyes suddenly moved, the movements in his hands stopped, and the originally smooth music became messy. Her eyes stayed somewhere, as if she saw something that made her uneasy. He murmured to himself, "My marriage certificate." There was a hint of confusion and expectation in his voice. Her marriage certificate was taken out. Although after putting the marriage certificate into the blind box, she knew that someone would definitely pull it out. But at this time, someone pulled him out. She didn't know how to describe her mood. Afraid, confused, expectation, maybe both. Lin Miaotong's expression became colder and colder, as if everything around her had nothing to do with her, only the marriage certificate occupied an important position in her heart. At this moment, the atmosphere in the bamboo building became extremely quiet. Although Lin Miaotong's piano sound is chaotic, her inner world is displayed in front of people's eyes through this scene that is not chaotic, making people want to explore her thoughts. "Miss, what's wrong with you?" Xiaolan approached Lin Miaotong with some worry and asked with concern. "It's okay, someone got the marriage certificate." Lin Miaotong shook her head slightly and said, "Ah, the marriage certificate has been drawn." Xiaolan stared at her round eyes, opened her mouth wide, and her face was filled with shock. Her voice was sharp with surprise, as if it could pierce the air. "The probability is 1 in a billion. This was set up by her herself. She thought it would be impossible for the marriage certificate to be drawn so quickly, but now it happened." "Miss, is the piano wire necessary for marriage?" Xiaolan asked a little reluctantly. "Well, if you want to practice the 7-color piano, the marriage string is a must," Lin Miaotong said with relief. "Moreover, you can draw it now, which shows that he is a very lucky person," Lin Miaotong said. The look of anticipation in her eyes became a bit more. She was looking forward to what kind of person her future husband would be. "Ah, sneeze." Shen He sneezed. "Is someone thinking about me?" Shen He scratched his head. He doesn't know that almost everyone in the wilderness is going crazy now. Frantically looking for the marriage certificate in his hand, Shen He looked at the items in his hands. Fairy Miaotong's marriage letter, mission item, 100% dropped after death. You can go to Baiyun City to find Lin Miaotong to trigger the mission, get married. Gulu. Shen He swallowed. With this thing, maybe we can complete that time-limited mission. You can't keep this thing in your hands. It will be a big loss if it drops. You have to open a warehouse and store it in the warehouse. The hunter badge also needs to be stored in the warehouse. Shen He would not dare to carry something with a 100% explosion rate on his body. By the way, check out the new modifier tasks. Shen He put away the marriage certificate. This thing needs to go to Baiyun City before it can be used. He is still in Novice Village now. Shen He clicked on his taskbar. 2 tasks lay quietly on his taskbar. Mission: climb to the 12th floor of the Moon Tower. Task reward: modify the permissions of the blue blind box once. Task: have a relationship with a female NPC of level 2 or above, limited to 7 days. If not completed within 7 days, the task will disappear. Remaining time is 6 days. Task reward: blind box modification permission once. Tower of the Moon. Shen He repeated the term in surprise. In the wilderness, there are 2 giant towers reaching the sky. One is called the Tower of the Sun, and the other is called the Tower of the Moon. Both towers are open to everyone. Every time you clear a level, you can get tower rewards. Although the reward mechanism is similar, the challenge mechanism is completely different. The Tower of the Sun allows you to carry all carryable items. As long as you can complete the combat tasks given on each floor, you can get rewards. It can be understood as an unlimited challenge. Regardless of any means, just pass the customs. The Tower of the Moon is the complete opposite. No equipment is allowed, and even the use of skills is prohibited. You can only choose a weapon without any attribute bonus on the first level. Personal attributes will also be fixed into standard templates. One person, one weapon, complete the tasks provided by each level of the Moon Tower. Moon Tower is absolutely fair in terms of numerical values. To put it another way, the Tower of the Sun is for money-making players, while the Tower of the Moon is for technical players. You want me to clear the 12th floor of the Moon Tower? Shenhe fell into thinking. He had only heard of the famous Moon Tower. I don't know what level is required for the 12th floor. Go and try it, it won't be easy. Shenhe was going to try the difficulty first. From the difficulty of the first mission that required perfect clearance of Jerry's house, Shenhe knew that this mission would definitely not be easy. Try the strength to get a feel for it. Let me see where the Moon Tower is. Shenhe opened the Omnipotent Forum and entered the keywords, Tower of the Moon, and entrance. Search results came out quickly. He opened a pinned post. Moon Tower Entrance Guide. The guide introduces the Tower of the Sun and the Tower of the Moon at the beginning, which are basically the same as what Shenhe knows. This part was skipped by Shenhe in one glance. Next is the dry stuff. If you want to challenge the two towers, you need to complete a prerequisite task, the Sun and the Moon Shine. This is an NPC that all novice camps have. Step 1. In the novice camp, find a character named Shuling Shi. One of her cats is lost. Accept the task of helping her find the cat. Step 2. Come to the level 30 to 40 map, Starfall Plain, and when you find the cat, you will get two stones at the same time, the Tower of Sun Teleport Stone and the Tower of Moon Teleport Stone. Then you can use the teleportation stone to teleport there. Note, the Tower of the Sun is only open on Sundays, and the Tower of the Moon is only open on Saturdays. After reading the guide, Shenhe had a comprehensive understanding of the two towers. Not like before, I just have a little knowledge and some relatively one-sided information. Xinglo Plain, this name sounds familiar. Shenhe scratched his hair. It took him a long while before he suddenly realized. A map appeared in Shenhe's hand. Magic Rat's treasure map. Follow the map to find the location of the Magic Rat's treasure. This is an item revealed by the second cousin Magic Mouse. The treasure hiding place is on the Xinglo Plain. Just in time, let's do the Sun and Moon mission, and dig out this treasure by the way. Shenhe made the next plan. Hey, Shenhe, we meet again. A loud voice sounded not far away. Shenhe turned his head and looked towards the voice. In the 101 novice camp, the only person who can call his name seems to be Zhang Chenkin, right? It's you. Shenhe also walked towards Zhang Chenkin. He still has a lot of affection for this old classmate. Let's go, let's take you to my warehouse. There are still some low-level equipment in there that I don't use. It's just right for you to use now. Zhang Chenkin said enthusiastically. No need really. Shenhe waved his hands quickly. He now has a lot more money. If you want, you can get a level 10 blue equipment. But, it's not necessary. It's all over-equipped. We'll be eliminated soon. It's just some low-level equipment, don't be polite to me. Zhang Chenkin thought Shenhe was being polite. Really, no need, I accept it. Shenhe said firmly. Although Zhang Chenkin had good intentions, Shenhe was not willing to accept this kind of favor. You have always been like this. Zhang Chenkin finally gave up and scratched his head helplessly. His impression of Shenhe had always been like this. Shenhe is a person who is unwilling to accept help from others. I like to do everything by myself. Rejected Zhang Chenkin's kindness. Shenhe came to a restaurant. Be prepared to treat yourself well. After harvesting so much, you can't treat your stomach badly, right? In reality, I drank the nutrient solution until I felt like vomiting, and the food was extremely expensive, so I couldn't afford it. It is still more cost-effective in the wilderness. Boss, a roast chicken, a plate of green vegetables, 3 more cakes, and a bottle of sweet wine. As soon as Shenhe entered the door, he heard someone shouting. Ever since, Shenhe also ordered one. In reality, civilians like him can only live on nutrient solution, and expensive luxuries like food are basically out of reach for him. Perhaps this is one of the reasons why so many people are willing to indulge in the wilderness and are unwilling to return to reality, right? Soon, the food was served. Just when Shen He was enjoying food, a large group of people came to the next table. There was no room for one table, and there were 5 tables. Shen He raised his head and glanced at this group of people. Suddenly it felt familiar. Blood. Tianlin. Among this group of people, Shen He saw someone who was barely an acquaintance. It was the liar who sold him the blind box of the ungraded ghost weapon. Bloody Sky Forest. What a great person. If it weren't for him, Shen He wouldn't know where to find the blind box. There were nearly 20 people in this group, all wearing the same badge. The badge of the Bloody Sky Forest Adventure Group. All members are above level 30, and there are a few at level 40. Reaching level 40 means one thing: it has been successfully transformed. Otherwise, you will be stuck at level 39. Is this a group activity? Chen He was eating roast chicken and observing idly. Bloody Tianlin also saw Chen He. However, he did not recognize Shen He. In his eyes, Shen He was just one of many new fools who were deceived. Bloody Tianlin and his group ate very quickly, as if they were rushing for something. Although he entered the restaurant a few minutes later than Shen He ate faster than Shen He and finished his lunch before Shen He. A group of people came in a mighty way, and then left in a mighty way. After a group of people from Bloody Sky Forest left, Shen He also walked over to pay. It's time for him to set off to complete the mission of the Sun and the Moon, open the Tower of the Sun and the Tower of the Moon, and go to the warehouse to store things. Just when Shen He was checking out, because of the departure of Bloody Tianlin and others, the restaurant began to discuss about Bloody Tianlin and others who had just arrived and left in a hurry. Those people from Bloody Sky Forest must be going to Xinglo Plain. 80%, it's not just Bloody Tianlin's group. Didn't you see that the somewhat capable adventure group from our 101 novice camp, as well as some relatively strong individual warriors, all rushed to the Xinglo Plain? Quote. Why do so many people go to Starfall Plain? I don't know. Anyway, many people are going to Xinglo Plain now. Shen He heard all these conversations. Starfall Plain. He also wants to go to Xinglo Plain. Stop by and see what's going on. Shen He settled the bill. Then, following the guide of the guide, I came to the residence and looked for the NPC named Shulingshi. This NPC does not appear in a fixed location. There are several locations mentioned in the guide, and Shen He can only find them one by one. Fortunately, these locations are not too far from each other. Shen He's luck is pretty good. When I found the second place, I found this NPC named Shulingshi. Ari, where have you gone? A girl was running on the street, shouting, Ari. Her voice, with obvious anxiety, echoed in the bustling crowd. Tears welled up in his eyes, and his cheeks turned red from running. Suddenly, she accidentally tripped over the stone under her feet. Just when she was about to fall, a hand with quick eyes and quick hands grabbed her. Are you okay? Shen He glanced at the name of the NPC and confirmed that it was Shulingshi, then asked. Hello, my cat is missing, can you help me find it? Shulingshi asked, begging. Okay, if I see it, I will bring it back to you. After Shen He said this, he heard the system prompt and the sound of him accepting the task. With this mission in hand, you can find the cat in Xinglo Plain. Received the task. Shen He was ready to leave for Xinglo Plain. Wait a minute, let's open a personal warehouse first and store valuables. Starfall Plain. 2 level 40 players wearing Eternal Union marks on their chests stood guard in front of a huge obelisk. In a deserted land, stands a broken and mysterious huge obelisk. It is like a lonely giant, standing tall and reaching into the sky. This obelisk has obviously experienced the vicissitudes of time, and its surface is covered with mottled marks and cracks, as if it were the mark left by time. The original color of the tower has faded, revealing an ancient and solemn atmosphere. A line of numbers appeared on the obelisk. 7,684 10,000ths. There are already more than 7,000 people. Continue to spread the news that a large number of time beasts appear on the Starfall Plain, attracting more people. One of the Eternal Guild members, who was taller and built like a bamboo pole, said while looking at the numbers that were still increasing. But our budget is a bit insufficient, isn't it? Another girl with long red hair said hesitantly. This is a sacrificial monument. I didn't expect that we would have the opportunity to meet in the novice map. If we can complete the sacrifice, a second-level breakthrough material is indispensable. Think about it, the second-level breakthrough material, whether it is obtained, whether it's for sale or for our own use, it's not of ordinary value. There are many reasons why there are so few second-turn players now. The difficulty of second-turn trials is one of them. Another aspect is secondary transfer materials. If you want to participate in the second-turn trial, you need to submit second-turn materials. As long as you complete the task of sacrificing the stone tablet, you can obtain a second-level material. Camp 101. Storehouse. Do you want to open the warehouse? The entry-level warehouse has 100 spaces, and 1 day of login time is charged. The warehouse manager asked. Yes, give me a week first. Shenhe paid for 7 days of login time. Opened a private warehouse. Then, he put the hunter's badge and Fairy Miaotong's marriage certificate, 2 things that would definitely drop after death, in the warehouse. These 2 things are too unsafe to have on your body. Just in case it hangs up accidentally. But it was a big loss. There is no death penalty in the novice stage, but this 100% death drop belongs to the characteristics of the item itself. Not covered by novice protection. Okay, you get 7 days of permission to use this warehouse. He put the hunter's badge and Fairy Miaotong's marriage certificate away with his own hands. Only then did Shenhe begin to rush towards Xinglo Plain. It can be said that it is very lively on the road. From time to time, you can see people walking in the direction of Xinglo Plain. From the conversations of these people, Shenhe finally understood why so many people were rushing to Xinglo Plain. Time Beast. As the name suggests, this is a monster that drops time cards. And only monsters that drop time cards. Time cards are the most common material in the wilderness. But this kind of material is only produced by tasks and boss creatures. Under normal circumstances, mobs will not explode. The Time Beast is a special case. It is not a monster, but it can explode time cards. No wonder so many people are going to Xinglo Plain. Shenhe clearly understood that if he had his way, he could also fight a few time beasts and accumulate some time cards. No one can have too many time cards, especially when it is used in every aspect. Since I have decided to live in the wilderness all the time. Food, clothing, housing, and transportation all take time. There are also things like the warehouse Shenhe opened today, the roast chicken he eats, etc. Isn't it right? Where did this news come from? Why do I feel something is wrong? If someone discovers the Time Beast, they will only secretly brush it by themselves, or at most call their friends together. How come it seems like everyone knows about it? Quote. A hint of uneasiness suddenly flashed through Shenhe's heart. He feels this. Seems a little weird. Forget it, never mind, it has nothing to do with me. Shenhe shook his head. All the way to Xinglo Plain. The monsters here are mainly level 30 to 40 step wolves. Of course, Shenhe didn't come here to fight monsters today. He came here to find the cat and the magic mouse's treasure. Because a large number of players came to Xinglo Plain became a lot more lively. Basically, someone will clean up the monsters that are spawned. This also allowed Shenhe to encounter little hindrance, and he quickly arrived near the cat in the mission. The advantage of following the guide is that it is extremely efficient. Somewhere in Starfall Plain, beside a quiet pond, a tabby cat curled up quietly. Its fur was soft and smooth, and its eyes revealed a kind of alertness and curiosity. The cat seems content with its surroundings, but at the same time remains alert and ready for possible threats. There are 2 particularly eye-catching stones in the pond, one black and one white. These 2 stones are Shenhe's goals. Only after accepting the task of finding the cat can you see these 2 stones. Shenhe came to the stone and picked up the 2 stones. Sun Tower Teleportation Stone can be teleported to the nearest Sun Tower. Moon Tower Teleportation Stone can be teleported to the nearest Moon Tower. Found it. Shenhe looked at the stone in his hand and felt happy. The civet cat was caught easily. Although it is just a daily task with not much reward, mosquitoes are still meat no matter how small they are, right? After catching the civet cat, another treasure map appeared in Shenhe's hand, which was dropped by killing the magic rat. Since you are all here in Xinglo Plain, I will stop by to pick it up. But just when Shenhe was studying the map, suddenly he raised his head with feeling and looked towards the sky in the distance. In an instant, a scarlet blood light rose into the sky like a dragon and shot straight into the sky. The blood light rotated rapidly in the air, condensing into a huge blood-colored cover, like an indestructible shield. The cover was filled with the smell of blood, as if it was condensed from countless blood. It fell with thunderous force, tightly covering the entire Xinglo Plain. Under the shroud, the Starfall Plain was completely silent. The originally vibrant grassland became dull, the vegetation withered, as if its vitality had been drained away. The smell of blood filled the air, making people feel depressive and frightened. The mountains in the distance were also dyed red by the blood, looking strange and gloomy. The appearance of the bloody cover plunged the entire Xinglo Plain into a strange atmosphere. At the moment when the blood light cover was formed, a system beep sounded in the air. This is a regional system prompt that can only be heard by people in the Starfall Plain. Ding! The number of people in Xinglo Plain has reached 10,000, and the sacrificial stone tablet is opened. Ding! Before the sacrifice ends, the map of Starfall Plain will be isolated from the outside world and become an independent space. Ding! From now on, all monsters will enter a state of madness, all attributes will be doubled, and a permanent 15% blood-sucking effect and a 1000-point shield will be automatically generated in 10 seconds. The experience value gained from killing them will be tripled. Ding! If you die in the current environment, you will not be resurrected immediately. You will be temporarily thrown into the soul prison until the sacrifice stone is completed or broken. Ding! The sacrifice requirement has been completed. The remaining number of people is less than or equal to 100, or the total number of dead creatures reaches 100,000. Everyone who kills other players or monsters can get the level of the person killed and the points they hold. The winner takes all. After the sacrifice is completed, rewards will be distributed based on the points ranking. The reward for first place is a piece of random second turn material. The sound of the system rang in the ears of all the players in Starfall Plain. Sacrifice stone tablet. What the hell? Immediately, people logged into the forum, looking for answers. Others asked for help. But you can log into the forum, but you can't post any information. Like a tourist. Just when everyone was confused, he discovered that the monsters around him had become extremely ferocious, and at the same time, they had a translucent shield on their bodies. All monsters have all attributes doubled, 15% blood-sucking effect, and gain 1000 shield points every 10 seconds. They were originally high-level mobs in their 30s and 40s, but now almost all of them have turned into mini-bosses. In just a few seconds, about 10% of the people died. Remaining number of people, 9,087 10,000ths. Shenhe was still thinking about this sudden incident. A nearby prairie wolf that was still far away from Shenhe suddenly went crazy and rushed towards Shenhe. In the vast grassland, a strong prairie wolf suddenly appeared. A layer of translucent shield floats on its surface, shining with a faint light. This is a layer of shield. Shenhe raised his eyes and looked up. Steppenwolf LV-35. This prairie wolf moved as fast as lightning. It took vigorous steps and pounced towards Shenhe River like a tiger preying on prey. Every step carries a decisive killing intent, and every movement reveals its ferocity and power. Its eyes were burning with hunger and desire for blood, and its sharp fangs shone coldly in the sun, as if they were about to tear everything apart. Shenhe raised the red tassel gun without fear and collided with the prairie wolf LV-35. Bite. The tip of the red tassel gun was pointed at the prairie wolf LV-35. Then, no damage was done at all. -5. A white number emerged from the head of the prairie wolf. This is not a damage number, but a shield absorption amount. In other words, Shenhe can only defeat Steppenwolf with 5 points of blood if he is a level A. You must know Shenhe's current attack power. But it's a full 205 points. Actually, just this little damage. 200 points of defense. Appeared at the same time. There is one more. -13. Fire damage. This is the fire damage of Red Flame Tassel's passive additional attack power of 50%. Why do I feel like I haven't encountered many monsters that I can break my defenses with? Shen He complained in his heart. No, I can actually break through the defense of this monster. It dealt at least 5 points of damage, which was at least absorbed by the shield. Shen He said harshly. All monsters automatically generate a 1000-point shield every 10 seconds. With Chen He's little damage power, even if he stood still and let him hit, he still wouldn't be able to break the shield. It will then be replaced by a new shield. However, this is a level 35 step wolf with all attributes doubled, so it's normal that it can't deal any damage. Shen He found reasons for himself. It's not him who does gua sha. -123. A bright red number appeared from the top of Shen He's head. The next moment Shen He hit the prairie wolf, he was also hit by the prairie wolf. The LV-35 Steppenwolf dealt triple-digit damage. A little more than a quarter of Shen He's health bar disappeared in an instant. A spider web was instantly launched from Shen He's left hand. The spider web is thrown on the prairie wolf and cannot be captured. It is not a capture unit at all, but it can distract the prairie wolf and give it a certain restraint. Spider webs shoot out. Shen He instantly ejected and started to kill the prairie wolf. Point the spear again. Bite. The tip of the gun touched the shield on the prairie wolf's body. -5. -15. 2 numbers emerged from above Steppenwolf's head. 1 physical damage, 1 fire damage. All were absorbed by the shield on it. After being strengthened by the sacrificial stone tablet, almost all the mobs have become bosses. Except that the upper limit of blood volume is only doubled, which is far worse than the boss. However, at this time, Shen He could already imagine what the scene was like on the Xinglo Plain. Second shot. The tip of the gun was a little bit on the prairie wolf's body. Shen He immediately shot back to defend, waiting for the coyote to attack. Sure enough, the next moment, the prairie wolf launched an attack. Clang! Claws slashed on the barrel of the gun. Block counterattack passive trigger. The spear in his hand drew a sharp arc in the air, stabbing the prairie wolf with astonishing momentum. In an instant, the spear exploded like thunder, making a shocking whistle. When the spear was pointed at the prairie wolf, a dazzling golden light suddenly burst out. 3 levels of passive accumulation are completed. The next attack will become a Dragon Fury enhanced basic attack with 1000 points of real damage. Go to hell. Shen He was attacked by the prairie wolf again. But he didn't care. Continued to shoot at the prairie wolf. The light was like a burning flame, completely covering the prairie wolf. The prairie wolf howled in pain and fell to the ground. Shen He's attack was like thunder, unstoppable. The force directly knocked the steppe wolf back several steps. Dragon Fury passively hides the knockback effect. -1000. A bright red number emerged from the head of the prairie wolf. Its health bar was directly reduced to a residual state by Shen He. Only about 30% -40% of the blood volume is left. It can be calculated that its blood volume is about 1500 or 1600. The outer shield is still the same layer of shield, but the body is already severely disabled. Real harm. It can be said to be the most noble injury. Ignore defense and shields. After a lot of effort, Shen He finally used his second Dragon Fury passive to kill the steppe wolf monster. A stream of light emerged from the corpse of the steppe wolf monster. It penetrated into Shen He's body. After beating level 25 monsters with 3 times the experience, Shen He killed his eldest cousin. It's already 98% of the experience at level 10. The experience tank is now full, and even level 11 experience has accumulated 25%. Ding! Congratulations on reaching level 11. You killed the level 35 prairie wolf and gained 35 points. The golden light on Shen He's body shone brightly. Instantly filled with blood and restored to full state. What a rich experience value. Shen He's eyes were shining. If nothing else, this place is simply a holy land for upgrading. Triple the experience value is really cool. After getting rid of the prairie wolf, Shen He finally had time to check the news that suddenly appeared before. Something unexpected happened before. A red beam of light shot into the sky from a distance, and then formed a bloody cover above the head. It covers the entire Xinglo Plain, turning it into a special area. When Shen He was overwhelmed by a series of system prompts, the prairie wolf pounced on him. He didn't have time to read the system prompts carefully. I just listened briefly. Now, we can finally study it in detail. Shen He stroked the civet cat a few times. Carefully read all the system prompts one by one. About 10 minutes later, Shen Hekai turned off the system prompt page. In other words, in the current Xinglo plane, everyone is a mini-boss and has 3 times the experience. Then, this is still a large GU breeding farm. It will end when there are less than 100 people left. Monsters will be spawned or each other will be killed. Points will be awarded. Finally, rewards will be given out based on the ranking. Shen He said in summary. It's interesting. The triple experience area is really great. Chapter 31. With the blessing of triple experience. Shen He felt really uncomfortable. Although the strengthened mobs have become much stronger. But it had little impact on him. The damage is a bit high, and you have to meditate for a long time every time you kill one. There are only 12 small blood bottles left on him, which are the ones left after the last battle with his eldest cousin. Now trapped in Xinglo Plain without any supplies, Shen He is not going to use these blood bottles easily. Once used, it's gone. He is still more interested in the rewards after the sacrifice. Let me see how far we are from the treasure. Shen He opened the treasure map in his hand. While he was grinding monsters and leveling up, he was looking for the location indicated on the map. In just over an hour, he reached level 14. As a matter of course, all attribute points should be added to the defense. Sinking River. Level 14, 18%. Occupation none. Property attack power 245, 5 points of basic attack power. Physical penetration 20. Defense 110. Spirit 10, basic spirit 10. Magic resistance 112. Life 323 470ths. Moving speed 105%. Crit rate 0%. Crit damage 0%. Skill meditation LV1 basic skill. Meditation for 1 minute can restore 10 points of life and gain 10 points of experience. Basic life enhancement passive maximum health value plus 100. Block and counterattack passive skill, make a blocking action. Successful blocking can reduce the damage received by 30% and automatically carry out a counterattack. Equipment: Dragon's Wrath Red Flame Tassel, Straw Shoes, Shaolan's Hand Knitted Sweater, Thorn Gauntlet, Spider Web Launcher. It's getting dark. Shen He, who was already level 14, looked up at the sky and then at the map in his hand. Magic Mouse's treasure map. It should be right in front, right? After more than an hour of fighting monsters and leveling up, I was looking for treasures at the same time. Shen He finally arrived near the treasure location. It's in the cave ahead. Shen He said and put away the map in his hand. Hopefully, there can be something good. The exact location of the treasure was determined. Shen He was ready to dig for treasure. But when Shen He arrived near the cave, his footsteps suddenly stopped. Hey, the corpse of a prairie wolf. Shen He looked a little surprised. In the wilderness, monster corpses will be automatically refreshed 5 minutes after being killed. There is actually a corpse here. Doesn't that mean that there was a battle here within 5 minutes? Shen He's heart suddenly became wary. There may be someone nearby. Although there is no penalty for death, he will be restricted from being resurrected, which will affect his upgrade progress. Moreover, this is now a triple experience area. Shen He couldn't bear to die. Here, maybe he can be promoted to level 40 as quickly as possible. The red flame tassel in Shen He's hand rotated slightly. He probed bit by bit into the cave. The players in Xinglo Plain are basically in their 30s and 40s, and their weapons and equipment are relatively complete. In terms of attributes alone, there is still a certain gap between Shen He and these advanced players. As Shen He explored the cave little by little, he saw the body of a prairie wolf. There was even a blue light on the corpse. Didn't you even pick up the dropped items? How urgent is this? Shen He smoothly took the blue quality item into his hands. A level 40 blue quality helmet. Wolf's arms, helmet. Level 40. Type, helmet. Attribute bonus. Defense plus 100. Life plus 1000. Passive, proud of the wolf. Immune to mental control skills. Equipment wearing limit. Level 40. Initiative, 2-piece set. Attack power plus 80 inactive. 4-piece set. Wolf spirit summoning, active skill, summons a level 40 prairie wolf, duration 30 seconds, cooling time 1 minute, not activated. 6-piece set. Attack power plus 100, defense power plus 100, not activated. Equipment introduction. A complete set of equipment made with prairie wolf skin as raw material. When combined together, one set will have destructive power. Shenhe glanced at it casually and threw the helmet into his backpack. Things are pretty good, especially the passive skills. Can be immune to mental control. It is restricted to level 40 before it can be worn. It would be useless if this thing were in Shenhe's hands. In the wild world, levels don't actually provide many attributes. The most important function is to meet equipment restrictions. Shenhe's current attributes are actually no worse than those of people in their 30s, but if they are below the level, they are not good enough. Level is a hard requirement. After picking up the item, Shenhe skipped the corpse of the prairie wolf and continued running forward. He could already hear the sound of fighting coming from the front. A roar of wild beasts sounded, and the sound came from the depths of the cave, as if a ferocious giant beast was warning something. Immediately afterwards, the collision of weapons and the sound of explosions intertwined and reverberated in the air, making people feel a tense atmosphere. As the sinking river continues to deepen, he was getting closer and closer to these sounds, and it seemed that a fierce battle was starting. In the darkness, some figures could be seen shaking. They were holding weapons and fighting with a huge steppe wolf king accompanied by several others. The firelight flickered, illuminating their faces. The intensity of the battle continues to escalate, and every collision of weapons is accompanied by shocking power. Explosions were heard one after another, and smoke and dust filled the air. Shenhe finally saw clearly the two sides of the battle. One of them is the level 40 Prairie Wolf King boss, which is originally the pinnacle of monsters in the novice village. After receiving the effect of the sacrifice stone, it may be comparable to the level 40 enhanced boss. It was accompanied by several younger brothers, all with injuries on their bodies. The opponents they fought were actually Shenhe's acquaintances. Bloody Sky Forest, the man who sold Shenhe the red ghost weapon blind box. It can be seen that many corpses have fallen into the cave. There are those from Steppenwolf and those from players. However, as soon as the player dies, the corpse will disappear immediately, and the Steppenwolf will not be refreshed until a few minutes after his death. So the ground was full of prairie wolf carcasses. Just in time, let's see if we can get a bargain. Shenhe hid his figure and continued to observe the movements in the cave. Bloody Sky Forest is not a good thing either. It's so abominable to lie to newcomers. The location indicated in the treasure map is right here. Shenhe took out the treasure map and confirmed the location again. The location of the magic mouse treasure is on the battlefield where the two sides fought. It would be nice if we could die together. Shenhe tried hard to hide his figure and daydream. It would be great if I could just reap the benefits. But he also knew it was impossible. Big Bear, hurry up and resist the damage. Bloody T Online commanded loudly. Keep up with the treatment, don't let the Big Bear die. Xiaofei, help the Big Bear resist some damage, and don't forget to give the boss the armor-shattering buff. Mage, watch the right moment and break its shield. This 1000-point shield generated every 10 seconds is so disgusting. Although the character of Bloody T Online is not very good, his command and combat operations are really good. There were only a dozen or so people left in the small cave, but they were not left behind at all. It can be seen that the degree of organization is very high. Not only are casualties now under control, still starting to slowly kill the little brother brought by the Steppenwolf boss. It's just that the Steppenwolf boss has basically not received any damage so far, and its health is still over 90%. You have such strong operational and command abilities. Shenhe watched with great interest. After about half an hour of fighting, all the prairie wolf monsters were cleared away by Bloody T Online and his team. Now, only Steppenwolf boss, Bloody T Online and his party are left, and there are still 12 people left. 3 of them are level 40 players, and the remaining 9 players are all level 39 players. Players at level 39 only have 1 trial left before reaching level 40. While Shenhe was still watching the excitement, boom! With a loud noise, an energy bomb exploded near Shenhe's hiding place. The dazzling light instantly broke through the darkness and illuminated everything around it. Shenhe's figure was invisible in the light of the explosion, and his face was full of surprise. The originally secret hiding place has now become the most visible target. Isn't it so unlucky? The light gradually dissipated, leaving behind traces of destruction and diffuse smoke. Chen He stared blankly at the scene in front of him, realizing that his whereabouts had been completely exposed. His heartbeat accelerated rapidly, and his brain was working rapidly, thinking about his next move. In this crisis-ridden moment, he must make a decision quickly, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous. Who? A loud shout sounded. Bloody T-Online noticed Shen He. There is someone hiding nearby. What do you want to do? Bad intentions. But when he saw the rank above Shen He, a hint of contempt flashed from his eyes. Just a level 14 newbie. I stood there and let him hit me, but he couldn't hit me. A low-level wretch. Bloody T-Online lowered his head and muttered to himself. Just a little Kurami. A fart would kill you. Maybe you don't need to worry about it, and then you die somehow. This sacrifice is the home ground for high-level players like him, who even have teams. Other low-level players, as well as idle personnel. They are just NPCs that provide points. Shaolin, go kill him. Bloody T-Online shouted. Immediately, there was a player wearing a pair of face armor and a black wallet. Out of the fight, rushing towards Shen He. In the blink of an eye, the player disappeared from Chen He's sight. Shen He only saw that the opponent's level was level 40. I didn't even see the name clearly. The other party disappeared. Sneak. Chen He's expression suddenly became serious. This is an exclusive skill for assassins. You can enter the invisible state, and will only appear when you are attacked or launch an attack. Of course, there are also some detection skills. You can directly take photos of the invisible assassin. It's just that Shen He definitely doesn't exist. Oops, I'll be killed instantly. Shen He ran towards the outside of the cave without looking back. The explosive output of the assassin profession is extremely terrifying. He is just a level 14 novice now. If you encounter a one-turn assassin who has completed one turn, you will be killed in seconds. Moreover, a dark and noisy environment is not suitable for fighting assassins. Shen He ran all the way outside, feeling more and more alert in his heart. It seemed as if disaster might be imminent at any time. Suddenly, Shen He's footsteps stopped. Turn around suddenly. He stretched out his hand and shot a spider web backwards. Paw! The cobwebs came to nothing. However, the opponent's position was exposed. Web shooter. An extremely surprised voice revealed the other party's position, although Shen He could still not see it. Die. The spear in Shen He's hand shook. Kill towards the location of the sound. Bite. Accompanied by a sound of metal collision. A human figure appeared in front of Shen He. Shen He finally saw his ID. Bloody and silent. A dagger easily blocked Shen He's spear. Blocked successfully. 24. A bright red number emerged from Bloody Silent's head. The blood bar seemed to have dropped by about 2%. Shen He quickly calculated the opponent's blood volume in his heart. About 1200 HP points. Within the passive killing line of a dragon's anger. Interesting. Web launcher, where did you get it? The blood-colored silent eyes were staring at Shen He's left hand. To be precise, it's the web launcher on his left hand. That's a web launcher. It's not an exaggeration to say it's an artifact. The functionality is not very strong. Let's discuss it. I'll be out for 2 years. This is all my wealth. How about you sell me the spider web launcher? A hint of greed flashed in the blood-colored silent eyes. But Shen He didn't answer him at all. He just raised his gun again and stabbed at the blood silently. As expected, it was easily blocked again. Bloody Silent's skills are much better than Shen He's. After all, he has been an experienced player for 3 months. I can still. Bloody Silence just blocked Shen He's attack, did not fight back at all, and kept trying to trade with Shen He. But Shen He was completely unmoved. Such an attitude also made Shui Siwusheng a little angry. Don't be shameless. There is no penalty for death in the novice stage, and you won't lose anything. But you won't be in the novice village forever. If you can, just stay away. Otherwise, I will use my power to surround you every day. Give me the things, and I will not only give you 5 years, but I will also help you join the Blood War Guild in Baiyun Town. Bloody silently began to coerce and lure them together. But, bite, the third attack was blocked. The red flame tassel in Shen He's hand turned into a brilliant golden color. You talk too much nonsense. Seeing that Long Nu was saved passively, Shen He finally spoke. However, the content of the words made Shui Siwusheng very unhappy. How dare you? How dare you talk to him in this tone? Just a level 14 player. However, at the next moment, a golden light quickly magnified in front of the bloody and silent eyes. A strong sense of crisis amplified in the bloody and silent heart. Bang! The bloody and silent body suddenly exploded, like a cloud of scarlet smoke, filling the air instantly. He activated the powerful concealment-type life-saving skill, Mist Concealment Technique. The moment it is released, it is immune to all damage. The smoke gradually dissipated, but the bloody and silent figure disappeared without a trace, as if it had never appeared. But it's of no use. The next moment, the spear was pointed at the bloody body. Because Shenhe's shooting speed just now was also a little slower. Ever since he knew that bloody silence was an assassin's profession, Shenhe had been wary of this forceful move. He has in his hand a powerful stealth skill that is invincible for 0.2 seconds. Therefore, when he saw Blood silently activating his skills just now, his movements were slightly slower. That's it for this time. Buzz. Golden light flashed, reflecting a sharp spear. The tip of its spear shone with an icy cold light, like the sharp teeth of death, piercing forward mercilessly. The person who was stabbed was a figure. His chest was stained with blood, but he didn't make a sound. His movements became stiff at that moment, and then he slowly fell down, like a sculpture that had lost its support and collapsed. The smell of blood filled the air, intertwined with the golden light. -1,400. A bright red number emerged from the bloody head. With up to 1,400 points of real damage, it directly killed Bloody Silent. Villains die from talking too much, did you know that? Shenhe drew his gun and pulled it back, watching the bloody and silent corpse fall to the ground. A purple light emerged from the bloody and silent corpse. Bloody Silent is already a level 40 first level player, and there is a death penalty. Kill him, hit him head on. I probably can't beat him now. Shenhe came to the bloody and silent body. Although he won, Shenhe was still very clear about how much he weighed. In a head-on fight, he is definitely no match for the one-turn assassin, and he will be taken away by a set of bursts. Maybe that is to say, he is a bit overestimated. A half set might be enough. From an assassin's 1,200 blood points, you can tell the difference between him and a level 40 player. Assassins mainly rely on attack speed and double explosion, and are not much stronger than mages. The HP of level 40 warriors is generally 2,000 plus, and tanks can even reach 3,000 plus. Let me see what's going on. Shenhe bent down, not too interested in the bloody equipment that burst out silently. If the equipment that the blood-colored silent explosion is worn is on the body, it is most likely a level 40 assassin outfit. Shenhe couldn't use it at all. It's better if it falls out of your backpack. Shenhe prayed in his heart and picked up the items. When Shenhe saw the attributes of the items in his hands, he was slightly stunned. No, what's the use of this thing? Shenhe looked a little confused after looking at the things in his hands. What is the purpose of this equipment? Green baseball cap. Level 0. Type helmet. Attribute bonus ATTACK 20. Life 20. Passive weakness. Each time you receive damage plus 2. Equipment wearing restrictions. None. Equipment introduction. After Green put on this hat, he felt as if he was exhausted. Good guy, this equipment introduction is also interesting. This hat leads the way. If you are worthy, who is not? This is the first time Shenhe has seen this kind of equipment. Reduce attack, reduce life, and increase damage to the enemy. Shenhe is willing to call this piece of equipment the strongest mole. There really are no gain attributes at all, they are all insider attributes. It's actually a purple piece of equipment. He also saw a ghost. Go back and see what's going on now. After collecting the loot, Shenhe turned back again. In the cave, after missing the bloody silent player, the output of the Bloody Sky Forest team began to fail to keep up. The 1,000-point shield generated once every 10 seconds made them uncomfortable. They lost the output of a one-turn assassin. Now the shield is broken. There is also a permanent 15% blood drain. The HP of Steppenwolf boss not only did not decrease, but actually increased. It has been reduced to about 80% before just a few minutes. This restored the Steppenwolf boss's life to around 90%. Where did Wu Sheng go? Why haven't you come back yet? Bloody T Online asked loudly. Just hunting down a level 14 rookie. Why does it take so much time? Perhaps there is some problem. Someone answered immediately. Wait until he comes back and ask him what happened. Bloody T-Online said, extremely unhappy. Suddenly, a system prompt sounded in his ears, causing Bloody T-Online's body to shake violently. A strong feeling of disbelief flashed in his eyes. No, how could it be? In a daze, he was hit by the paw of the Steppenwolf boss. Fortunately, the nanny in the team rescued him in time, and a healing beam hit Bloody T-Online's body. Pull up the bloodline of Bloody T-Online again. Boss, what's wrong? A member asked anxiously. Only then did Bloody T-Online wake up and realize that he was now fighting the boss. He quickly regrouped, but his heart was still full of shock. Just now, he heard the system prompt. Ding, Bloody Silent death, leave the team. Bloody Silent is actually dead. This news is really shocking. Bloody T-Online's eyes widened and he murmured in disbelief. How is this possible? He knew that Bloody Silent was very powerful and experienced, so why did he die suddenly? Did he encounter some extremely powerful enemy? At this time, Bloody T-Online's mood became heavy. He didn't know what happened, but he knew it was something serious. How did you die? Just chasing down a level 14 player. How could he die? Was he killed by that level 14 player? What kind of international joke are you kidding? A level 41 turn assassin can't do much damage even if he stands and is beaten by a level 14 newbie. Could it be that there were other incidents? In an instant, Bloody T-Online thought about many possibilities in his mind. No, retreat quickly, don't get entangled with this boss. Bloody T-Online suddenly realized something. He shouted quickly. He wanted to contact Shueisei Silent and ask what happened. But now we are in a special area, and communication methods have been interrupted. Can only rely on guessing. According to Bloody's guess, there are only two possibilities for Bloody and Silent death. Either he met other high-level players or other high-level monsters. No matter which case it is, now is not the time to continue fighting with this prairie wolf boss. Retreat, don't continue fighting this boss. Bloody T-Online issued the order. Immediately, he reached out and touched it. He took out a ball-shaped object. Then, with a look of pain on his face, he threw the item towards the Steppenwolf boss. Only the Steppenwolf boss was left twisting his body normally, using his huge body to hit the two nearby warriors holding shields. Knocked the two people away. Suddenly, a spherical object hit it like a meteor. In an instant, countless electric currents spurted out from the sphere, intersecting like lightning, and quickly woven into a huge power grid, tightly wrapping the Steppenwolf boss. The current raged in the power grid, making a crackling sound. Under the strong impact of the current, Steppenwolf boss's hair stood on end and his body trembled constantly. It tried to struggle to escape, but the power grid was as strong as steel, leaving it nowhere to escape. The electric current emitted by the ball made the Steppenwolf feel unprecedented pain. Move quickly, the electric shock trap can only trap it for 30 seconds. Bloody T-Online said with great pain. Electric batting is not cheap. One takes a month, but now we evacuate for safety. It can only be used. Otherwise, Steppenwolf boss is not a fool, so how could he let them come and leave whenever they want? The group of people in Bloody Sky Forest have very good fighting qualities. After hearing the order from the boss Bloody T-Online, evacuate quickly towards the outside of the cave. But when they want to leave, then I saw a huge spider web, sealing the exit. There is indeed someone. Get ready to fight. Bloody T-Online shouted. Someone sealed the entrance to the cave and didn't want them to leave. Mage, use a fire spell to burn this net. Bloody T-Online ordered. In fact, there is no need for him to issue orders. When he saw the spider web, there was already a mage working on his magic skills. A dazzling fireball shot from the hand of a mage player. It landed on the huge spider web at an alarming speed, instantly causing a devastating fire. The moment the fireball hit the spider web, there was a loud noise. The spider web quickly burned under the high temperature, and the flames were blazing, illuminating everything around it. The fire spread rapidly, like a ferocious beast, greedily devouring spider silk. Not long after, the spider web was in the flames. It was burned cleanly, leaving only some residual ashes floating in the wind. It's you. In the flames. Bloody T-Online saw the figure of a person. Isn't he the new level 14 kid from before? Let your boss and all the gang come out. This time I admit defeat and draw a clear path. I will take it. Bloody T-Online glanced at Steppenwolf boss, who was still restrained by the electric grid with his peripheral vision. He said calmly. When Chen He heard this, he had a strange look on his face. Bloody T-Online seems to have misunderstood something. His boss and associates. However, Shen He was not prepared to explain. Shen He thought for a while and quoted a price. 2.5 years. Chen He said, okay, I'll give it to you when we leave. Bloody T-Online agreed immediately without even thinking about it. But, Shen He still made no move to give up his position. Instead, he smiled amusedly. You didn't deceive me as a child, did you? Give it to me now. Shen He said without giving in. Although, he is very guilty now. In a head-on fight, he probably wouldn't be able to beat Bloody T-Online alone, let alone so many teammates. However, Chen He was sure that Bloody T-Online would compromise. As for why he wants 2.5 years. Mainly because I was tricked by Bloody T-Online for 2.5 months. Now he wants 2.5 years, which is reasonable, right? When Shui T-Online heard this, a few blue veins popped up on his forehead. I glanced at the Steppenwolf boss with my peripheral vision again. It has been more than 10 seconds since I just took control. Good. Bloody T-Online gritted his teeth and quickly came to Shen He's side. Transfer 2.5 years to Shen He. Until the time is up. Shen He still couldn't believe it. Actually, got it just like that. When the time came, Shen He kept his promise and made way. Let Bloody T-Online and his party leave. But at this moment, buzz, the power grid exploded. The Steppenwolf boss is entangled in a tough electric grid. The sharp claws grasped the grid tightly, the muscles tensed, and they tried their best to tear open the restraints. The power grid was torn apart by its violent force and split into countless fragments, scattered all over the place like metal rain. The Steppenwolf boss who tore open the power grid let out a deep roar, his eyes wide open, and charged straight ahead with endless wildness and anger. What's going on? Can't you control it for 30 seconds? Bloody T-Online looked at everything in front of him with wide eyes. The mage player at the end is the one who burned the spider web before. The Steppenwolf boss who broke out of the net was slapped to death. The strengthened Steppenwolf boss can only be blocked by players from the warrior and tank directions without dying. The crispy skin evaporates when touched. After killing a mage player with one blow, the Steppenwolf boss continues to slaughter another crispy archer. As expected, he was slapped to death. Walk. Bloody T-Online's eyes were red. After just such a short delay, 2 people died. It was already impossible to defeat this prairie wolf boss, but now that 2 output positions have been killed, it is even more impossible to defeat it. A group of people immediately fled with their lives. Finally escaped from the cave. But until now, Bloody T-Online has not seen Shen He's teammates. It seems, Shen He is really a person. He also killed the Bloody Silent. Before he had time to think about it, the Steppenwolf boss also rushed out from behind. Everyone, run separately. Only one can survive. Bloody T-Online issued the final order. Then, he took the lead and fled. There is a penalty for the player's death in the first turn, and he doesn't want to die. The Steppenwolf boss chased him out of the cave. Its vigorous figure drew a graceful arc in the wind. His eyes were as sharp as arrows, and he locked onto a mage who was running slowly. The mage watched in horror as the prairie wolf pounced on him like a hungry tiger. He staggered and tried desperately to escape. However, the Steppenwolf was extremely fast and was in front of him in the blink of an eye. The fangs of the prairie wolf flashed with cold light. It opened its mouth and let out a deep roar. Not surprisingly, the mage's crispy skin was defeated by Steppenwolf boss. The Steppenwolf boss is killing everyone. At this time, a figure not only did not choose to escape, but after the prairie wolf left the cave, turned back again. Chen He has not forgotten that the reason why he came here is for the magic mouse's treasure. If the treasure is not taken away, how can it be left? Hey, the most dangerous place is the safest place. Shen He chuckled. This trip can be said to be profitable. It took 2.5 years to earn money from Bloody Sky Forest. This harvest is purely an unexpected blessing. Moreover, Shen He was actually a little confused. so he just opened his mouth to the lion, but he didn't expect that it could actually happen. The savings suddenly increased by 2.5 years, and Shenhe suddenly became a large depositor. In 2.5 years, it is enough to buy a level 40 golden equipment. Listening to the screams from behind, Shenhe got into the cave with extremely agile hands and feet. A treasure map appeared in Shenhe's hands. It's right here. Shenhe squatted down on the ground. This is the specific location pointed to by the treasure map. When Shenhe arrived at the location, the treasure map in his hand disappeared in a flash, and a treasure box appeared in front of Shenhe. Magic Mouse's treasure. Found it. Shenhe immediately opened the box eagerly. The contents of the box came into view. It was filled with dense potions. All are life potions and spiritual potions. Ding, you get X50 primary life potion and X50 primary spiritual potion. The system's beep sounded in Shenhe's ears. The primary psychotropic potion is of no use to him, but the primary life potion is a good thing. Especially now that he is trapped in Xinglo Plain and cannot get out, unable to obtain supplies. Not bad, good stuff. Shenhe was very satisfied with this harvest. But just when Shenhe took the treasure and was about to leave, a sound of heavy footsteps and breathing reached Shenhe's ears. Shenhe's movements froze. That prairie wolf boss has returned. The prairie wolf boss can do 1 or 2,000 damage with one claw, which Shenhe can't withstand. Of course, Shenhe is not at all helpless. He also has an ultimate move that can only be used once an hour, Dragon Explosion. It can directly deal 14,000 points of real damage. It's just, I have learned a lesson from the previous encounter with the Spider Mother boss. Shenhe knew that some bosses had blood-locking mechanisms. Now level 14 Dragon Explosion can theoretically deal 14,000 points of damage. But if you encounter the blood-lock mechanism, you will lose one stage in a second at most. Forum, I'll go to the forum to see the attributes and mechanics of this Steppe Wolf boss. Hearing that the Steppe Wolf boss was getting closer and closer to him, Shenhe quickly opened the forum, searching for the keywords of Steppenwolf boss. Soon, the search results came out. Shenhe directly skipped the previous attribute introduction and skill introduction parts. Focus on the mechanism. The mechanics of Steppenwolf boss are 2 stages. When the blood volume drops below 30%, will summon 5 prairie wolf brothers, and at the same time gain 20% damage immunity. Fortunately, there is no blood-locking mechanism. After Shenhe read the mechanism, he felt a lot more relaxed. What he fears most now is the blood-locking mechanism. However, Shenhe was not happy for long. Because, he noticed the HP of Steppenwolf boss. 8,000 health points. Originally it was something that could be solved with one blast. But, now the buff of Starfall Plain. All attributes are doubled. This means that the Steppenwolf's HP is now 16,000 points. Holy shit, Shenhe cursed. The prairie wolf boss with double blood volume has exceeded the killing range of Dragon Explosion. You still need to make up for the 2 Dragon Fury passives. But, with the terrifying output ability of Steppenwolf boss, it was a problem for Shenhe to live in front of him for a few more seconds. It's over. A trace of despair flashed in Shenhe's eyes. The footsteps are getting closer. It's not a loss, I just feel reluctant to give up 3 times the experience. Shenhe stood there waiting to die. Anyway, I haven't reached level 40 yet, so it's okay to die. Finally, Shenhe saw the prairie wolf boss walking into the cave. There was still a lot of blood stains on its body. Originally Shenhe was waiting to die. But suddenly, Shenhe saw the HP of the prairie wolf boss. The Steppenwolf boss is not full of health. The health bar is not full. Only about 90%. Shenhe calculated quickly in his mind. If the blood volume is 90%, almost 14,400 HP. If it's 14,400, there might be a chance. A glimmer of hope rekindled in Shenhe's eyes. If that's the case, maybe there's still a chance. People are like this, if they can see hope. Call out. Shenhe shot a spider web toward the top of his head, and then used the second stage of traction to pull himself up. Shenhe hung above the cave entrance, preparing for a sneak attack. Da da da. The sound of footsteps came. Shenhe's heart was beating fast. Not found. The steppe wolf didn't notice the sinking river hanging from it. While waiting for the Steppenwolf boss to pass by, Shen He suddenly let go and fell from the top of the cave. Bite. The tip of the spear hit the prairie wolf boss. Forget about the harm. Being attacked suddenly, Steppenwolf boss was also stunned for a while. Then he started to move violently. He threw Shen He off his back. After landing, Shen He couldn't care less about himself and immediately rushed towards the Steppenwolf boss again. The Steppenwolf boss was moving wildly because he could not tell the direction of the enemy for the time being. A tail swept across and almost hit Shen He. Fortunately, Shen He's dodge movements were faster. This is how I managed to save my life. The advantage of the long attack distance of spear weapons was brought into play at this time. Bite. Shen He's second attack hit the prairie boss on the butt. Accumulated the second layer of passive. But this also made Steppenwolf boss discover the existence of Shen He. Roar. The Steppenwolf boss roared. The saliva mixed with fishy and putrid smells sprayed all over Shen He's face. His body suddenly jumped up and rushed towards Shen He. Shen He didn't even dare to touch the Steppenwolf boss's attack. Even if it has a blocking effect. Successful blocking will reduce the damage by 30%, and even the Steppenwolf boss can kill Shen He instantly. He quickly fired the spider silk again and used the second stage of traction to dodge. Now, as long as it is touched, GG can be declared. It's definitely an unprecedented danger. This is the most difficult battle Shen He has experienced so far. It would be great if there was level 15, now it can be done instantly. Shen He especially hopes that he is level 15 now. If you are at level 15, facing the Steppenwolf boss with 90% health, you can just activate it. 15,000 points of damage can directly fill the Steppenwolf boss. Unfortunately, he could only think about it. Call out. Pulled by the spider web, Shen He successfully dodged. The more he used it, the more Shen He felt that the spider web launcher was useful. This thing was worthy of being called an artifact. One claw missed, and the Steppenwolf boss seemed a little manic. The coyote opened its bloody mouth. A powerful force quickly condensed in his mouth. This force exuded frightening energy fluctuations, and the surrounding air seemed to be distorted. As the power continued to gather, the ground began to shake slightly. Suffer large AoE damage. Shen He also knew that he might not be able to escape now. Immediately he became heartbroken. The spider silk in his hand loosened. The spear was pierced towards the Steppenwolf boss. Bite. With the sound of a gunshot, the red flame tassel successfully turned golden. The Steppenwolf boss's ultimate move is still accumulating power. Bite. The golden one hits the prairie wolf boss. Minus 1,400. A bright red number emerged from the head of Steppenwolf boss. The passive hidden knockback effect of Dragon Fury is useless against medium-sized monsters, let alone large monsters such as Steppenwolf boss. Watching the prairie wolf boss's health drop by a beat, Shen He's eyes shone with a glimmer of light. That's it now. Shen He desperately ran towards the grassland wolf boss. He actually took the initiative to approach the Steppenwolf boss. A spider web in Shen He's hand shot towards the face of the prairie wolf boss. The movement of charging the Steppenwolf boss paused, and he adjusted his position slightly. But that was the pause. Shen He's palm was aimed at the prairie wolf boss. The Steppenwolf boss's charged attack was finally successful at this moment. Buzz. Dragon Blast. A spine-chilling beam of energy shot out from the ornament. This beam of light was unusually thick, carrying a heaven-destroying aura, and bombarded directly towards the prairie wolf. In an instant, the beam of light accurately hit the Steppenwolf boss's mouth. The skill that was about to be released was immediately misfired. The Steppenwolf boss let out a shrill scream and then collapsed. The energy of the light beam raged inside the prairie wolf's body, its fur was torn, its muscles were twisted, and blood splattered everywhere. The whole scene was extremely bloody, as if a nightmare had come. As the prairie wolf fell, the surrounding air seemed to solidify. Only the dragon-shaped ornaments still emitted a faint light, as if telling the thrilling scene just now. Minus 14,000. A bright red number emerged from the head of Steppenwolf boss. Along with this number, there were 7 items of various colors. 1 golden light, 2 purple lights, 1 blue light and 3 green lights. Ding, you kill the Steppenwolf boss and get 4,000 points. Ding, the experience tank is full. Your level has been improved. It is currently LV 15. Ding, the experience tank is full. Your level has been improved. It is currently LV16. Following the system's beep, Shenhe went limp, like a puddle of mud, lying on the ground. The psychological pressure of fighting this boss is too great. If touched, you will die. After lying on the ground for a few minutes, Shenhe got up from the ground. I hope the harvest will not disappoint me. Shenhe walked briskly and came to the body of the prairie wolf boss. He was singled out first. Naturally, it looks like a card. Time card. 1 month after use, you can get 1 month of login time. A month, just barely. Shenhe, who had just received 2.5 years from Bloody Sky Forest, seemed a little dissatisfied with 1 month. Use it directly. Shenhe began to check the dropped items in order from low to high quality. First, there are 3 green items. 2 parts wolf hair, 1 part wolf teeth. It's all material. Shenhe swept it into his backpack smoothly. Then, there are only 1 gold, 1 purple, and 1 blue left. The blue item is a stone. Prairie Wolf Mount Stone. After using it, you can get a Prairie Wolf mount. Available only after level 40. The mount is okay, but the quality is a bit low, and it cannot be used until the pet mount system is opened at level 40. A mount, of relatively low quality. Let's just say it's better than nothing. Next, it's time for the main event. Shenhe reached towards the purple object. This is a breastplate. Grassland Guardian, breastplate. Level 40. Type, armor. Attribute bonus. Defense plus 100. Magic resistance plus 120. Life plus 800. Crit rate plus 5%. Passive, Shelter of the Grassland. In the grassland environment, 20 health points are restored every second. The self-recovery effect is reduced by 75% in combat situations. 2-piece set. Life plus 200. 4-piece set. The Shelter of the Grassland passively returns blood, change to 1% of own blood volume plus 20. 6-piece set. 1 Grassland Shelter passive, which can also take effect in non-grassland environments. 220% injury-free. Equipment restrictions. Level 40, Warrior or Tank Profession. Equipment introduction. Holy objects grown from the grassland will be given to a favored person. Hey, what a good thing. After reading the attributes, Shenhe immediately had the idea of collecting a set as his level 40 equipment. This is obviously battle tank equipment. Shenhe has no shortage of output ability, but what he lacks is the ability to save his life. The warrior route or tank route is more suitable for Shenhe. After all, only when you are alive can you have output, right? It's up to you to be my first set of equipment. Shenhe wiped the breastplate in the Grassland Guardian suit in his hand. Finish counting the debris. Shenhe finally looked at the last golden item. It was something that looked like a key. There was a faint golden light all over his body. It looks a little unusual, like a good thing. Wolf's Key unblocked. Unblocking conditions. Kill 1000 prairie wolves. Unblocking progress. 0.001. As Shenhe touched the key, the complete attributes of the key fell into Shenhe's eyes. Although, it seems like I can't see anything. It just means that you need to kill 1000 prairie wolves to unlock this key. Can't you search this on the forum? Shenhe raised his eyebrows and said. As a latecomer, the biggest advantage is that through the forum, you can almost know most of the news. You can avoid a lot of detours. If you can't find it on the forum, congratulations, you have obtained something very precious. Shenhe searched the forum and easily found the information about Wolf's Key. This is something that only the Steppe Wolf boss will drop. After completing the unlocking task, you can enter a special building called the Prairie Wolf Tomb. You can exchange it for an item in the Prairie Wolf Tomb. There are 3 items in the Prairie Wolf Tomb. You can choose one of 3. A level 40 golden weapon, Wolf Fang. A golden coyote pet. Or a dog's immortal red ghost weapon blind box. It is recommended to choose the golden pet, Steppe Wolf King. When Shenhe saw the blind box, he didn't want to continue reading. Red ghost weapon blind box. Shenhe looked overjoyed. Now, when he saw the word, blind box, he felt excited all over. For him, low probability has never been a problem. Just have it. Of course, you also need to have the opportunity to modify the blind box. He currently does not have the authority to modify the blind box even once. If you complete the 12th floor of the Tower of the Moon, you will be granted permission to modify the blue blind box once. If you can interact with an NPC of level 2 or above, you can have full-level blind box modification permissions. Dog's Immortality. How does this name sound like it's in the same series as Dragon's Wrath and Rat's Agility? Shenhe touched his chin twice. Then he put away that wolf key. He had originally planned to farm the Steppenwolf, but this was the right time to gain experience while adding up the number of kills for the key so that he could unlock the key. Collect all the loot. Shenhe walked out of the cave briskly. There was silence in front of the cave, and Shui Tianlin and others had long since escaped without a trace. I don't know how many ran away. Only single digits should be able to get away. After leaving the cave, Shenhe began his journey of killing monsters. After more than 2 hours of brushing, Shenhe's level reached level 17 and was about to reach level 18. It is indeed a triple experience area, and it is also a triple experience area for high-level monsters. Shenhe's level is rising like a rocket. It's just one afternoon. Just go from level 10 to level 17. If this continues, reaching level 40 within 7 days will be more than enough. The sun is gradually setting. Shenhe had already arrived next to a swamp. You can see a tall tower like a tomb standing in the swamp. This is the wolf tomb. Shenhe looked at the tall tower in the swamp and said. He checked the location of the prairie wolf tomb and walked all the way there. Let's see how far it is. Shenhe conveniently clicked on the unblocking progress of wolf's key. It says 125 1/1000ths. Is it only 1/8 of the way done? But don't rush, you have plenty of time, just work on it slowly. Seeing the sky getting dark, Shenhe chose to log off. Let's continue brushing tomorrow. Shenhe used the spider web launcher to climb up a tree and chose to log off on the tree. This was the best place to go offline that he had thought of. In the wild world, there are no offline characters that just disappear. Even if you go offline, the character will stay where you are. Usually they are logged off in a safe area. Of course, there are also rich people who stay in hotels. Depending on the grade of the hotel, a small amount of experience will be provided during the offline period. Shenhe heard that there was also a kind of meditation room. Just stay in the meditation room, whether you are offline or doing anything in the meditation room. It's like meditating. It shouldn't be so unlucky to be discovered, right? It's all hidden here. Shenhe looked at the leaves below. Unless someone knows for sure, there is someone here. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to see him. The position has been adjusted. Shenhe is offline. In a dark room, Shenhe took off the helmet on his head. When I came to the refrigerator, I looked at the colorful nutrient solutions in various colors. After thinking for a moment, Shenhe chose a grape-flavored nutrient solution. He drank it in several sips. Just when Shenhe was about to go to bed, the mobile phone on the bedside suddenly lit up. Shenhe came to the bedside and picked up the phone. It turned out to be a phone call. When he saw the notes on the screen, a smile unconsciously appeared on the corner of Shenhe's mouth. The caller's note is, Dog Thing. This is a friend of Shenhe. Full name, Go Dongzi. He is 5 months older than Shenhe, which means that he is now a player who has been in the wilderness for 5 months. Moreover, there are already several missed calls from stupid people on the phone. One from 8 hours ago, one from 6 hours ago, one from 4 hours ago, and one from 2 hours ago. This guy called Shenhe every 2 hours. This is the 5th one. Shenhe was in the wilderness before and didn't receive the first 4. Without thinking, Shenhe clicked the answer button. A familiar voice immediately came from the other side of the phone. The box, you finally picked it up. Go Dongzi said carelessly. Box is Shenhe's nickname, which is much nicer than the nickname Doggy. How's it going? I remember, today seems to be your birthday, right? What level are you at now, and which novice village are you in? Go Dongzi asked. 101 Novice Village, you remembered wrongly, yesterday was my birthday. Shenhe said with a smile. It's just a day or two, it's the same, it's the same. Go Dongzi said with a smile. I have now created a small guild in Baiyun City. Do you want to come? I will give you the position of leader. If you do well, I will directly appoint you as the vice president. Go Dongzi promised, patting his chest. Go away, you want me to be your subordinate, you want nothing to do with it. Shenhe smiled and cursed and raised a finger at Go Dongzi. Not to mention the group leader, even if the president gave it to him, he wouldn't do it. Okay, give me your UID and add me as a friend. We can talk about anything in the wilderness later. After chatting for a while, the dog asked for Shenhe's UID, saying that he wanted to add Shenhe as a friend. Then the two continued chatting for a while and ended the conversation. Shenhe lay on the bed and quickly fell into sleep. Among the dense tree canopy, a pair of eyes suddenly opened. Shenhe took a look at his surroundings and clicked on the friends bar. Found a friend request. Ding, player Dongzi requests to add you as a friend. Listening to this name, you know it as the ID of a dog. Shenhe clicked in agreement, and Dongxi became the third one on his friend list. I can't believe that you spent money to change your name. You know your name doesn't sound good, right? Shenhe took a look at the dog's profile picture, which was still black, indicating that he was not online yet, so he would ignore him for the time being. Call out. Shenhe jumped from the tree. He stretched out comfortably and yawned. Then start today's leveling. Today's goal is level 28. Today is the third day of that 7-day limited time mission. Shenhe planned to use 5 days to raise his level to level 39, half a day to complete one turn, and then there was still a day and a half left to deal with possible accidents. Okay, let's start upgrading. Shenhe took out his weapon. There are 5 Wolf King boss in this Xinglo Plain, and the refresh time is 24 hours. Yesterday's Steppe Wolf boss should not be refreshed yet. Shenhe is going to several other points to look for the Steppe Wolf boss whereabouts. If possible, Shenhe would like to put together a complete set of Grassland Guardian suits. Just do it. Shenhe came to a place near the Prairie Wolf boss. I killed about 50 of the Prairie Wolf mobs along the way, exploded a few pieces of junk equipment, and raised my level to level 18. It's right here. Shenhe looked into the distance and saw a Prairie Wolf boss that was the same as yesterday, wandering near an open space. The current Shenhe's Dragon Blast caused a full 18,000 points of damage. Even the Steppenwolf boss with full health can be killed instantly. If there is any disadvantage, it is that the cooling time is too long, requiring a full hour of cooling. There was no one around. Shenhe walked directly towards the Steppenwolf boss. Accompanied by the roar of dragons and tigers, there was also the sound of explosions. The Steppenwolf boss has fallen. Shenhe also found what he wanted from the dropped items. Grassland Guardian, Wristguard, level 40, type, wristband. Attribute bonus, defense plus 80, life plus 200, crit rate plus 5%. Passive, Shelter of the Grassland. In the grassland environment, 20 health points are restored every second. The self-recovery effect is reduced by 75% in combat situations. 2-piece set. Life plus 200. 4-piece set. The Shelter of the Grassland passively returns blood, change to 1% of own blood volume plus 20. 6-piece set. 1 Grassland Shelter passive, which can also take effect in non-grassland environments. 220% injury-free. Equipment restrictions. Level 40, Warrior or Tank Profession. Equipment introduction. Holy objects grown from the grassland will be given to a favored person. The second one. Shenhe stuffed the equipment into his backpack. Apart from one component, this Steppenwolf boss didn't drop anything good. This is actually a mechanism in the wilderness. The first time each boss is killed, there will be an extra explosion rate. Including the second time and after, the explosion rate will be normal. Shenhe was already satisfied with just one kit. Keep brushing. After determining the direction, Shenhe rushed towards the location of the other Prairie Wolf boss. What Shenhe didn't know was, just long after he left, 2 people, a man and a woman, came near here. Both of them wore the logo of the Eternal Guild. Here it is, a Prairie Wolf boss, 4,000 points, 10 times that of ordinary monsters. Zhang Yang said. The boss points are 100 times that of the mobs, in order to get the first place in this sacrifice. The boss creature must be taken down. The female player on the side, ID, Zhang Jiayi. Zhang Jiayi looked at the system interface. Number of survivors, 5,643 10,000ths. Number of dead creatures, 26,743 100,000ths. She said slowly. There are still more than 5,000 people left, and the number of monster deaths is only over 20,000. It is impossible to meet the number of kills. Just as Zhang Jiayi was talking. When I saw the number of monsters killed, it jumped by more than 100. As this, the boss being killed. Zhang Jiayi was stunned. Not only the boss score is counted as 100 times, but the quantity is also calculated as 100 times. One boss is equivalent to killing 100 prairie wolves. What the hell? The boss here has also been wiped out. Zhang Yang, who looked around and couldn't find the steppe wolf boss, looked a little frustrated. What a waste of time. What? The boss here has also been wiped out. Zhang Jiayi immediately raised her head after hearing this. He looked extremely surprised. Obtain the sacrificial stone tablet and strengthen the boss. Although it is probably not as good as the king beast of the same level, it will not be worse than the enhanced boss. The death data just now was so violent that she speculated that a prairie wolf boss had been killed, and now this prairie wolf boss had also been killed. Zhang Yang, tell me, is it possible to have a team dedicated to fighting the boss? And it can kill the boss efficiently. Zhang Jiayi raised a possibility. I estimate that it may be a team of more than 10 first-level players with a reasonable configuration, plus some players over level 30 to supplement DPS. No way. After completing the first round, you basically won't stay in the novice village for too long and will go to the first-level town, right? How come there are so many first-round players? Moreover, they happen to be in Xinglo Plain. There will never be more than 100 first-level players here, and the rest are players in their 30s. Zhang Yang retorted almost instinctively. It's totally unreasonable. There are not many resources in the novice village. Generally, after completing a round, players will not stay in the novice village for too long. After staying for a few days at most, you will go to a first-level town. After he and Zhang Jiayi completed their transfer, they were ready to set off for the first-level town. If I hadn't encountered this sacrificial stone tablet, the two are now in a first-level town. This is the only possibility, otherwise I can't explain this situation. Zhang Jiayi was also unwilling. He and Zhang Yang finally gathered the triggering conditions for the sacrificial stone tablet. Now, making a wedding dress for someone else. Don't feel too bad, okay. But the facts are right in front of you, so you have to believe it. No, let's go check out other Steppenwolf bosses. If there really is such a terrifying team, we will be out of luck. Zhang Yang clenched his fists and said with great reluctance. Anyone who encounters someone who has made a wedding dress for someone else will not give up easily. Okay, let's go take a look again. Zhang Jiayi said helplessly, accompanying Zhang Yang towards the other place where the prairie wolf boss was. Ah, sneeze. Shen He sneezed. At this time, he was standing in front of a huge prairie wolf corpse. There was a pile of assorted items scattered around the body. This is the second prairie wolf boss he has killed today. There is no special mechanism, one dragon blast will take you away directly. Shen He rubbed his nose and then started to pick up items on the ground. He got the third piece of the Prairie Guardian set. Grassland Guardian, leggings, level 40, type, leggings. Attribute bonus, defense plus 80, life plus 200, crit damage plus 10%. Passive, shelter of the grassland. In the grassland environment, 20 health points are restored every second. The self-recovery effect is reduced by 75% in combat situations. 2-piece set, life plus 200. 4-piece set, the shelter of the grassland passively returns blood, change to 1% of own blood volume plus 20. 6-piece set, 1 grassland shelter passive, which can also take effect in non-grassland environments, 220% injury-free. Equipment restrictions. Level 40, warrior or tank profession. Equipment introduction. Holy objects grown from the grassland will be given to a favored person. This is the third one, so nice. Shen He happily put away the equipment. After collecting the set, there are only 3 pieces of equipment left. We still need to open the wristband equipment area. Shen He continued to rush towards the location of the third prairie wolf boss, muttering in his mouth. There are only 6 basic equipment areas. Head, top, pants, shoes, weapons and accessories. But in fact, you can also open 4 parts, wrist guards, cloaks, secondary weapons, and accessories area 2. There are 10 equipment areas in total. The Grassland Guardian set requires a wristband area that is not the basic equipment area. If Shen He wants to equip a complete Grassland Guardian suit, the wrist guard area must be opened. Of course, the wristband area is easier to open, while the cloak and accessories area too is a little more difficult. The most difficult part is the secondary weapon area. You must know that weapons are the equipment with the strongest attributes. Cloak opening stones and jewelry area 2 opening stones occasionally leak out to the market. The secondary weapon opening stone basically dares to appear in the trading house. As long as the price is not outrageous, it will be sold in seconds. About an hour later, the third prairie wolf boss was also killed by Shen He. This time my luck was worse. In fact, you can't say you are unlucky. It is true that a Grassland Guardian suit kit has been released, but the bad news is, this is a repeat piece of kit. Another piece of legging equipment. It was almost noon, and at this time, Shen He's level reached level 23. In one morning, Shen He was promoted to level 6, with 3 times the experience, which was not very satisfying. It seems that if everything goes well, I might be able to reach level 30 if I grind until midnight. Shen He had just picked up the items and within 30 seconds of leaving, he bumped into a man and a woman. These are 2 level 40 players. Shen He immediately shrank his head, not wanting to face the 2 people. He met many players today. The triple experience value is still very tempting. Although the steppe wolf monster has become stronger, the players' enthusiasm for killing monsters has actually increased. It's just that the casualty rate is a bit high. Just a few days later, there were only a little more than 5,000 people left out of the original 10,000. Although Shen He wanted to hide, he couldn't. Shen He turned in a direction to avoid it, but the 2 men, a man and a woman, chased after him directly. The 2 people moved much faster than Shen He, and it didn't take long for Shen He to be caught up by the 2 people. Now that Dragon Explosion has just been used, I want to rely on the passive method of accumulating Dragon Fury to face 2 turn 1 players. It's a very funny thing. However, Shen He was not ready to surrender. Just when Shen He took out his weapon and prepared to make the final struggle. Little brother, I'm nervous. We just have something to ask you. We're not trying to do anything against you. Zhang Yang looked at Shen He's nervous expression. He quickly waved his hands to appease him. This sentence rekindled Shen He's hope for life. It seems, these 2 people are not here to kill him. Don't be afraid, we won't do anything to you. Zhang Yang saw Shen He stopped running. He took a step back to show that he meant no harm. Zhang Jiayi also cooperated and took a step back. It seemed that there was really no malicious intent. This was a bit beyond Shen He's expectation. Shouldn't it? If it weren't for killing yourself, what value would you have? You know, I look like a level 23 player now. What's up? Shen He asked, looking a little nervous and vigilant. Suddenly, Shen He's eyes flashed. He saw the badges on the chests of Zhang Yang and Zhang Jiayi. Eternal Guild, Shen He said hesitantly. This badge seems to be the badge of the Eternal Guild. Yes, we are preliminary members of the Eternal Guild. Zhang Yang looked at Shen He's hesitant eyes. He couldn't help but raise his chest slightly. Said somewhat proudly, this is the pride of being a member of the top guild, the Eternal Guild. Although, currently only a reserve member. Nothing, I just wanted to ask, did a team of more than 10 people pass by here just now? Zhang Yang asked. Team, when Shen He heard this, he was stunned again. There is no such thing as a team. He's the only one. Isn't it this place? The number of dead creatures has increased a lot just now. A prairie wolf boss must have been killed. Isn't it this place? Zhang Jiayi frowned slightly when she heard this. You said that a group of people just killed a prairie wolf boss. Shen He asked with a strange expression. There's nothing wrong with you. Zhang Yang waved his hand. Let's go. Zhang Yang was like throwing away garbage. Let Shen He leave. It's completely different from my previous attitude when I asked for help. Of course, Shen He doesn't care. It's good to be alive. But just when Shen He was about to leave, once again, I was stopped. Etc. Zhang Yang spoke up again. This made Shen He's movements pause again. This is for you. I used it before. Can you help me check out a few locations? Zhang Yang threw a pair of shoes and equipment to Shen He. Help me go to these 2 points to see if there is a large group of people fighting the Steppenwolf boss. After finishing, I will give you 1 week to log in, how about it? Zhang Yang said. Are you asking him to be a spy? Good. Chen He agreed to Zhang Yang's deal without thinking. Chen He guessed, if nothing else, the person Zhang Yang is looking for may be himself. Let him find himself. How is it possible to find it? Of course, equipment and money still have to be charged. Although there are not many, mosquitoes are still meat no matter how small they are, right? I want to ask, what are you doing with the person who is fighting the boss? Shen He probed cautiously. This is not something you should be concerned about. Zhang Yang replied calmly. He exudes a sense of superiority as a member of a large guild. Goodbye. Shen He rolled his eyes and was too lazy to continue talking to him. Zhang Yang pointed out 2 points to him, one of which was the point where Bloody Tionline's group met the Prairie Wolf yesterday, and the other was the point where the last Prairie Wolf boss was still alive. It is also the target that Shen He plans to go to next. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.